Here we are with Godbound, The Storms of Yizhao. Episode 1. My name is Devin, I am the GM, and to my left we have X playing Y.
Nicole playing Lowling.
Kevin playing Grant.
And Peter as Azazel the Goat-Headed.
Perfect. So, listeners, Storms of Yizhao is a module or a little pre-adventure created by Simon Nominee, written by Kevin Crawford, that was released for the game Godbound. It was released a while back, and it is a sort of mystery adventure where there are supernatural afflictions plaguing this town of Yizhao, and the PCs go in, and there is a roster of NPCs that all have different perspectives and motivations and goals in mind, and they conflict with everyone else. And the PCs go in and try to unravel what is happening in Yizhao and how to solve the mystery. Now, originally, we actually ran through this adventure, I think, 4 months prior, and we did a full recording, and we weren't quite happy with how it turned out, so we ended up scrapping it. And what we did was we spent the night talking about what we didn't like and what we thought would fit better for us, and we rewrote those parts, and then just kind of sat on it until we were ready to run again. So this version of Storms of Yizhao has been modified, and the modifications we made to the basic adventure are included with this podcast. So if you're on the website or whatever, just look for the link, because it'll be linked in here. We call this the Yin version?
The Yang version.
We call this the Yang version of Storms of Yizhao, a term that came from Ten Berry Blades, where all the major NPCs had motivations that were yin and yang, alternating based on which one the GM wanted to use for the adventure. So we did an alternative take for this adventure moving forward.
Yep.
Well, basically, all the reasons why we made the changes and whatnot are included in the document with this podcast. So go there if you want to learn more, because that's where it is. All right. So now that we've explained kind of the very basic premise, we're going to move on with character introductions. So, starting with Kevin, please describe to the listeners your character, Grant.
Grant is a dwarf. He actually comes from the setting of Ravenloft from the D&D games. He is...
Just like Atris.
Just like Atris. And that's about where the similarities end between them. He is, again, a dwarf. Kind of ruddy-colored skin, red hair, wears a lot of kind of dark reds and brown colors, very earthy. His right hand is this black, shriveled, kind of a claw that seeps mist. He carries a silver pocket watch at all times, as well as his crossbow, the White Witch. And carries a bag of cursed coins from his time in Ravenloft. He is very dour, very serious. He doesn't take insults laying down. I think that should be it. Sir.
So yeah, that's the same character you played in the Ten Berry Blades.
Yeah.
Yeah, if listeners have listened to Ten Berry Blades, it is the same Grant. And that adventure did happen as far as canon for this game is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Just in the abstract sense, the exact details aren't necessary.
Something happened in a town.
Mm-hmm. Anything else about Grant? What he carries? What kind of tools he has? I think he has an artifact. Did you mention that?
Yeah, I mentioned his pocket watch. It is actually called the Displaced Timepiece. It allows him to rewind time. And as well, again, his crossbow, the White Witch, which is just a weapon that he's carried with him for a long time. He's murdered a fair number of witches with it, actually.
What words does he have bound?
He has bow, endurance, and death.
Perfect. All right, I think that's good. Oh, and for listeners' reference, this is a level 3 game we are running through the module in. The module has several things set up that makes it actually pretty difficult depending on what level you are, and 3 is pretty good for it. All right, that's Grant. Let's go next.
I can go next.
All right, Nicole, your character.
Lowling is a male in his probably mid-20s-ish. He's Dolombian, so basically Chinese. He's wearing very traditional clothing that's really in a nice blue like silk. It's called a hanfu, if that anyone knows what that means. He has longish but shoulder-length hair, but he always has it up in like almost like a top knot. And he always is carrying a pipa with him, which is a traditional stringed instrument.
All right.
What words do you have bound?
He has deception, knowledge, and music. And he's also an archmage of the Academy of Thought.
Okay, and you're a cultural figure within Dulumbai, right?
Yes, he is a very well-renowned expert on the arts, the traditional arts and literature of Dulumbai. He's kind of like a traveling bard, but with less like scoundrel connotations and more like a traveling artist connotations.
Okay. That seems good. Is there anything else you want to add to the listeners?
His musical instrument is an artifact called the Song of 10,000 Sorrows. That's pretty much it.
All right. And Peter.
So, as I the goat-headed, he's a mutant from the Thousand God. He's a technician that worked there. He's a Godbound of artifice, fertility, and passion. And, he's pretty much a drunken fertility goat. He has a roving band of worshippers around him called the Traveling Billies. He's all about, having parties, getting drunk, and, causing some ruckus around. But he's just very present there. Also, he goes around and, creates, food for everybody. So, these worshippers don't really need much else. And, he's knowledgeable in the stuff from the pre-shattered RSM. And, he doesn't have any artifact to himself. He's just him and his worshippers.
All right.
Yeah, he's like, his statue is like, he's large, he's, has black fur to him, has a goat face, 4 horns to himself, that is dressed in floral fineries.
He has those crazy goat eyes.
Yeah.
That marks them as an ally of Satan. All goats are.
Right, I forgot about cults.
Cults. Do you guys have cults?
Brent does, actually.
Yeah, there we go. You have yourself your own little fortress cult in Confronting.
The Eternal Watch.
Yeah. And yourself? Your cult?
Yep. They're also they're basically all trained in the Academy of Thought as well, and they all learn musical instruments. And they're about preserving the culture of Dulumbai while bringing it forward into the new age.
Meanwhile, the Eternal Watch is all about driving out, people who would use magic and the like to harm the innocent.
Okay.
Man, Dulumbai would love that.
I'm like, oh no, you don't like magic?
As well as surpassing pain. That's kind of their philosophy. Expanding on that. They're all masters of the strife of...
The Flaming Monks or something?
Oh god, what is it called? It's from Ten Buried Blades.
Consuming pain?
Something like that?
Uh-oh. Is it on your character sheet?
It was, and then I erased it.
The Strife of the Torment Defied.
Yes, that's the one.
Which is a strife in Ten Buried Blades, listeners.
So much fun.
But yeah, being witch hunters is actually something that Dulumbai would love because they border the bleak black academies that keep sending monsters down.
That's probably most of what they've been dealing with, too.
They hate that shit.
Yeah.
The whole reason that Yizhao is having its problem is because it has to constantly defend against shit like that from their curse masters.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm just gonna... So, those are your characters, and yeah, the pretense of the module, or the adventure, is that the 3 of you, independently or together, are notable divine figures within the nation of Dulumbai. You've done things that are renowned to get to where you are now. So my question is, could you articulate to the listeners just a brief breakdown of how you guys know each other and what people might know you for? Like, not super detailed, just a cliff notes.
Grant took out a cult that was near a city, as well as taking out a sorcerer of sorts. Who was
C10 buried blades.
Yeah,
And
C10 braided blades.
And how you fixed up Kong Feng.
Fixed it right the fuck up. And then kind of did a semi-hostile takeover.
I mean, Kong Feng is still giving its money to Dolombai. It's just doing it at a better rate, with way less banditry, and way more crop output.
So he murdered pretty much everyone who was standing in the way of profit.
Put a few Ferengi in charge, the good ones.
Basically.
Put that Canadian in charge of supplying guns.
No, I banished him. For his accent.
I mean, did you get a gun from him?
No.
No.
Grant was like, crossbow.
Alright, so yeah, Kong Feng, and you basically taking over a profitable little area of Dolombai and securing it against its problems.
Yeah, and then he's just been sending out his cultists to help enforce the, nearest areas.
Yeah, Kong Feng was a very large area. Like, the city itself was fine, but Kong Feng actually covered a large amount of, like, open farmland. So those areas are where your cult really has to put in the extra elbow grease.
Yeah, exactly. Force
Large,
those areas.
empty, like, mountainous areas.
Yeah.
Alright, and Nicole? Cultural bard hero?
Yes. He's known for basically going into towns, putting on amazing shows, and being an expert at stuff, but also like solving people's problems, pointing out that people are doing things that are bad, that were like secret.
So you're like a Greek kind of philosopher dude who goes in and fixes people's problems with rhetoric and knowledge.
Yes.
That's
And
cool.
tells on them.
I mean, if you want to put it that way.
You're corrupt.
You're like Dionysus, a dickhole, or Plato. Plato, open bracket, everyone who doesn't think like me is a blind idiot who grew up unintelligent in a cave, close bracket, the philosopher.
Oh, mage.
No.
I mean, you have knowledge, deception, and passion, so you can just go in and be all like, stop fucking up. Pew! I did it.
Lying.
Yes.
Plato, humble as apple pie, the philosopher.
Plato the first mage.
Alright, and Azazel, goat-headed demon whore, artificer, monster mash.
Yeah, so he probably just roams around wherever with his merry band of, entertainers.
You can't use the word roam when you're a demon-headed dude who has, like, devil machines and spider-legged chairs and have, like, orgies and, like, plants growing everywhere. You're basically the Baphomet statue the Church of Satan keeps throwing up everywhere.
I mean, he's roaming around. He doesn't have any direction he's going towards. Just go around.
So you're just carving curly lines across the map full of rainforest?
Yeah, full of rainforest, wherever he stops, further lands to feed his followers, and then, leaves that behind for people to have. So, the places he, goes by are better for it because, hey, fix all the fertility problems, high yield crops, and, party for a while. It just disrupts the locals, ruffles some feathers and so on, but, in the end, it's better for it.
Alright. And how did the three of you cross paths?
I assume Azazel and Ling literally crossed paths at a Southwest town one day. As they're both kind of wandering types.
Wandering events.
He probably entered Grant's territory, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to speak to these people who are extremely powerful and renowned. Because he's kind of all about the stability of the country right now, so...
It's a pretty stable country.
Yeah,
Good
exactly.
government. No zombies around.
Yeah, it's not an post-apocalyptic zombie hellhole.
Remember our Ancalia?
Right?
I remember.
Because he's probably well aware of the Rat King Confederacy, is that what it's called?
I believe so, and they're mutants and monsters that get birthed out of burrows under the ground and just rampage across the countryside.
We're also at war with the Patricians?
Petria?
Something like
Which
that?
is
Yeah,
Sparta.
Sparta, yeah.
We're also constantly at war with those assholes.
So he was...
Give them nothing and take from them our sequel's revenue.
So he was probably well aware of that. I was like, yeah, we could work together to, stabilize this country further.
This country
Fight off
deserves
its
it.
enemies. Yeah, basically. This country's way better than the one I came from. It's less of a racist shithole.
Look at these opium-smoking slaves. They love it.
It's It's very ordered.
Order, but still racist.
It reminds me of home, with our nice, even-handed, ordered, iron-fisted ruler.
Some kind of wizard king.
Some kind of magic man.
Fuck that guy.
Grant and Atris have very different opinions on Azul and Rex. Azzy. Aslan, open quote, literally no one calls me that, close quote, Azzy Rex. Rexy. Okay. So, yeah, you guys know each other, and, yeah, Kong Feng is... No, not Kong Feng. Yizhao. Alright, we're back. So, Yizhao, Fortress City Yizhao, is a bulwark city that is in the, I believe, north of Dulumbai, right on the border of Raktian? The Raktian Confederacy.
Rakteen, I think.
Yeah. It's on the Dawang River. It has 100,000 people in it, and it is a city that has been having problems. The pretense of the module is that the city, because it's on the border of this nation they've been at war with forever, this nation of like evil sorcerers and cursors and people that create Power Ranger style monsters and let them loose across the countryside, and they just flood into Dulumbai. This city has an artifact called an Altar of Heaven from ages and ages ago. And what this altar does is it prevents curses and supernatural destruction from befalling the city, and it gives it a shell, but it also has hang-ups of its own that are required to be followed for it to function properly. And those downsides are starting to get really bad in the city. So they can't turn off the altar because it is protecting the city from the problems flooding in, but it is starting to act up in a way that's going to ruin the city, basically. And I think because Grant has been so known for his work in Kong Feng, he was invited to the city by its ruler, or not its ruler, but it's basically the man in charge.
Governor.
Pardon me?
The governor.
The governor, that's the word, thank you. Yeah, Governor Wu Jiang, the viceroy of Fortress City Yizhao, invited Grant, who is a established divinity in Dulumbai, to come and help with these issues that the city's been having. And he has promised, he basically in the letter alluded to him being an influential figure that could add legitimacy to the religion and offices that you're instituting in Kong Feng.
So I've probably been hitting issues with that, yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say you've been hitting issues in the vague term. I mean that in no uncertain terms were you given a letter from the emperor's, or like whoever stands in for the emperor's court saying you need to disband your cult or it's going to turn into a bloodbath. So, in the interest of it not turning into a bloodbath, Governor Wu Jiang has been working in between you guys to sort that out.
Wu Jiang?
Yeah.
Grant probably keeps like advisors around him all the time to advise him on Dulumbai politics and stuff because he's not from around here. So he's like, okay, so that's why I can't do that. Or
Crime is illegal.
that's why they get upset when I do this because it's culturally insensitive. I see.
This costume is culturally insensitive. They called me Reggae Man. So, yeah, essentially he is offered to sponsor you of sorts if you can troubleshoot the issue they're having. Mm-hmm. And only the way misunderstood half-men divinities can.
Misunderstood. That explains all of his problems.
What's the nobility caste in this country called again?
It is called, of course, they're called the Zhenzai. They make up at about 5% of the 16 million population of Dulumbai, and they are basically the nobility caste, but at any moment, for any reason, the royalty can just take that away.
Also, it's not hereditary. You
Nope.
basically become nobility by passing tests.
Yes.
By being good at the stuff. My character was actually, his father was a magistrate, and he was going to do the tests, but then he's like, I don't like the way the government works, so I'm going to not do that.
Yeah, everyone who isn't Zhenzai is Shio-Ren, which are just, 16 million-ish people.
Yeah. Dulumbai has more Gen Z than Kalia has people.
Yizhao has more people in its walls, 100,000 people, than a quarter of Encalia right now. Encalia has about 400,000 people that are alive, and just Yizhao has 100,000 people in its walls.
Yep.
So you're fucked in Kalia.
Yep.
Let's go looting there. Steal all their artifacts.
Okay.
Anyway, you had asked that question, and where was I going with that?
Well, before that, you were describing what Governor Wu Yang promised Grant.
He wants Grant to come on board, and Grant, I'm assuming you're bringing these two with, because they're also, gods.
Yes, and they also have cults, so it's like, hey, let's all get our cults established. So we can
Political legitimacy.
Yeah, so we can be bona fide religions in this country.
Like it cuts to like the border of Confronting, where like the armies of the Emperor are ready
Staring at us.
for the cleansing.
Uh,
They like have their button over the purge button, and you're like, "Don't you do it?"
Time is kind of the essence.
It's like I'll be right fucking back. So yes, you guys are have traveled to Yizhao. Yizhao is a fortress city. It has long sloping hills and valleys around to about a mile around the actual city. The city is a large, sprawling, walled fortress with many districts built into it. There's like rivers and plains land and rice fields and other sort of stuff kind of built around it. And it's not kind of like a trading hub mixed in with like a military encampment. So the ground is muddy and churned up by horsemen constantly going through and marching, and rain and storms, irregular, fairly present storms.
the storms of Yizhao.
The storms of Yizhao. Very good, Peter. You did it. You're a regular modern day George Lucas in subtlety. So,
That's so scathing.
aw. So, you have come to Yizhao. Again, large fortress city, large walls, gates, guards, horseback archers. This place is fortified. There's about, I believe it was something around the lines of like, for the record, it has like 5,000 soldiers just stationed in the city, ready to go. Which is a lot.
I mean, they're right on the border.
Yeah. This place is fortified, and there's a constant kind of putrid, pollution-based smog coming from it as the pig iron furnaces and stuff are just going. Yeah. I assume you're entering from, like, just the city's main entrance?
No, I think we're going on the party boat.
Alright, you're coming in through the river?
Yep.
Alright. And we're back. The Silver District. You guys coming in on a boat. What does this fucking boat look like?
Well, so it's a party boat. It's a large boat filled with flowery things just overflowing from it. Like, fruits flowing down the river next to it, with people partying on it, making some music. Pretty good thanks to Lao Link here. And yeah, getting drunk. And so on. So it's like one of those processions floats you'd see, just, more debauchery there.
Alright. And all your various people and attendees are with?
Yep.
I have to ask, because you're a necromancer king, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of undead did you bring?
Okay, so he brought a lot of his human, Eternal Watch people, and they're just partying in the back with the rest. But Grant's at the front, smoking and watching the front of the boat with probably 4 people in porcelain masks and heavy robes, just standing silently behind him, and they're probably zombie kings,
Zombie lords?
zombie lords.
Oh, fun. And they're all zombie lords, they're not like mummies or ghoul lords or anything?
Oh, wait, which maybe ghoul lords actually. Ghoul lords are probably the best way to go because they don't have horrible auras that.
Stench auras that kill people.
Yeah, so ghoul lords.
But we don't want that. The flowers aren't going to help too much.
They all smell strongly of incense and stuff.
They probably have like pauldrons and parts of their clothes that have burning incense on them, so they look like they're smoke guys.
Yeah, and yeah, they look like priests and.
They will stay on the boat
Yes.
until they're called into action, and then it's fucking go-go gadget time.
Exactly.
Go-go gadget creates spawn.
There's probably wax sealed barrels underneath the boat that are full of,
Ghouls.
ghouls. Yeah.
Ghouls.
On the barrels again.
Why not?
The unintelligent undead don't get to be on the boat.
Oh, they're intelligent. Ghouls are intelligent.
Oh, really?
They're people. Hungry people.
Well, they can sleep under the boat.
They're hopping vampires. They're hopping cannibals.
They can stay underneath.
With a touch, they can paralyze someone as if they were dead, but they're alive and away.
Excellent.
They're a plague brought down on the people.
Oh no.
So yeah, that's what my cultists are doing.
Perfect. So yeah, in the lower decks, you have a ghoul contingent waiting.
That's nice.
You have
Next to the
fertility.
wine.
You can provide them with meat.
Fertilities for plants.
Fertility's for a lot of things. Anything can be fertile if you elbow grease it.
We just have a cage of bunnies in the back that, you can make them breed really fast.
Little buns.
Fertility's not just for plants, it's for everything.
Lower the bunnies into the barrel.
The plants are so easy. Meat plants.
So are
Meat,
rabbits.
meat man, I'm sorry, meat man. Finn, I'm gonna stop eating meat man. Anyway, Yizhao, as you're coming through the river, you're coming to the Silver District, basically, and this has the acrid iron fog all around it. It is a mishmash of apartments and houses built on top of each other, stacked up almost kind of like what you imagine an old-timey version of a trailer park would be if all the trailers were haphazardly crushed onto each other, which is actually City and Exalted. So it's like stacked, lopsided houses with like half-pipe tiles and clay on them. Kind of like Ghibli-esque.
It's the burrow.
It's the what?
It's the burrow.
The burrow.
Louise's house.
Yeah, like lopsided poor people houses built on a dock. There are, stalls and like little merchant areas and half circles where people like are behind counters selling goods and whatnot. And this area, smells of commerce and burning pig iron and piss and shit. And there's about ankle deep's worth of muck and wet ground because nothing's cobbled here, and people are just slogging their way through it. Socks eternally wet.
I guess I'm gonna
The river is brown and yellowy with runoff from the Iron District.
So much for the fruit.
Oh no, well, I think the people are used to it. They can fish out.
Yes, they are used to crushing poverty and pollution. Yes, they are used to it. They are used to being born and dying slaves.
Perfect.
Thanks.
What? The look on your face, Nicole.
The look of disgust.
She's just so angry looking.
It's so gross.
Yeah, well, welcome to the real world, jackass.
Welcome to medieval times.
Your boat docks.
Yep.
Yeah, your procession disembarks.
I'm assuming Azazel has like people that scatter like flower petals before we
Yeah.
walk.
We have a whole procession,
That
like
sounds like a thing.
throwing
You
lace.
guys
You
have
know.
palanquins?
I have a palanquin.
Of course.
Because I'm drunk.
Goat-headed Satan man giving the Baphomet sign as he's on a palanquin, blessing people.
Grant has a donkey. Can't fit on a full-sized horse. That'd be bullshit. It's like, oh god.
Oh, careful, land spider. Oh, fuck. And what are you doing? You just gonna walk on through?
Yeah. Gonna be playing my instrument as we go. Yeah.
I take my grand piano with me.
A grand piano. Like every texture is replaced with a Nicolas Cage face. Yeah. People are agape at you guys because you just arrived and ooh-wee, look at you guys.
I'll be playing my instrument as I'm walking. I'll pluck a flower off of his palanquin and like give it to a pretty lady as I walk by.
She swoons. Going for the kill.
like pounding her right here on the dock.
No, like she swoons like she's been disabled, so you're going for the killing strike.
Coup de grace.
Coup de grace!
So Grant grabs a rose and does, tuxedo mask.
Impales someone.
Hooray!
1d10 damage.
Grant kind of motions for his heavily robed cultists to just stay on the boat.
They do so.
Excellent.
Yes, the Silver District is just covered in garbage and people. The
No.
people are garbage.
And then more garbage from us.
Flower petals are garbage.
There's actually a fairly nice looking estate built on top of the stacked houses. It's like a large kind of brightly colored mansion that's kind of lopsided. That doesn't look like anyone respectable lives there. But yeah, here you are. Guards are starting to kind of filter on in from another part of the city. Not like, you know, a murder contingent, just like people who are official.
Here they come. Grant just instinctually pulls out his wallet. He's been here long enough.
Time for bribing.
You have the letter though, right?
Oh yeah, I do, but sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes it's never enough.
My god. Oh yeah, 3-man approach. They're in military-style armor. They don't look like they're constables. They look like they're actual like part of the military contingent. And they kind of eye the assembled crowd until they find the half-man. And yeah, one approach is like, you are the half-man?
Grant, a pleasure.
Half-man Grant. Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah. An invitation here. These are my friends, associates.
All right. We will take you to the governor, of course.
Huh.
We've given orders to lead you through.
That's what I thought.
Okay, we take the procession to the city then.
Like all of them?
Why not?
All right.
Jesus Christ.
Band of Mary.
Occasionally we just lose them to the mud or to muggers.
Well, like some of the animals get stuck and they're like trying to, okay, just put some rugs under their hooves to get them out of there.
Poor donkey.
just push a woman over and, you know, let them walk over. It's fine.
It's fine.
Peasants are used to this.
The whole reason they don't modernize is because it's easier just to throw more servants at it. You don't need an assembly line or like a really high-tech like construction facility if you have endless amounts of free labor.
You should just really throw straw into all this mud. Even that.
There
really...
is straw in all this mud.
Oh, God.
You think this is their first rodeo?
Also, I guess with all the rain, it's just impossible to keep up with this shit.
Yeah, ankle deep for a person. For a Grant, that's like up to all this.
Yeah,
It's a lot of mud.
That's why he's on the donkey.
Ankles is enough to your pelvis.
He's a dwarf.
Yeah, but like ankles are only 2 inches tall. He's not like a 5-inch person, Devin.
He's a mini dwarf.
He's like fucking probably 4 feet tall.
Well, it'd be up to his calves then.
Either way,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to be in it.
Like, yeah, fair, but it's not like
The bottoms of his
it's
pants.
big.
The bottoms of his pants would get wet.
It's like, man, fuck this. Just carry me. I can't go anywhere. Like, so I'm just gonna take a mini boat.
He's getting smaller with every time.
Right?
He's on stilts. He's on the back of one of those stilt walkers from Mad Max.
Jousting.
Master Blaster. Yes, they bring you out of the... you'll of course know is the Silver District, where all the trade and mercantilism goes, and they lead you through the city. So, as you all... I should mention, once you entered Yizhao proper, you feel the oppressive miasma that only can come from... I think you've encountered it before, Grant. Supernatural wards and protections. The oppression of an Empyrean and Mundus ward system in place.
Man, that is like a slap directly in my face.
The Mundus ward is level 6 which means it increases the multiplier for all of your, or the base cost for all of your dominion and influence by 6.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so good luck with that, and be careful when somebody loves you. And the Empyrean ward, which only appears once you get to the geomantic nexus that is the governor's palace next to the Mulberry district, requires that you commit 2 effort to use any of your gifts.
Yep.
Like,
It's like Cold Breath 2.
you do it per day?
No. You enter the grounds, and you commit 2 effort to the grounds.
And then to use
That
And I
effort's
can
gone.
use whatever gifts I want. With
Yeah.
just that 2 effort already. That's what I was asking.
And then when you leave, you get the 2 effort back.
Yeah.
Welcome to the jungle. We live in a jungle. So you are guided. Oh shit. To the Banner District, and the Banner District is kind of the official center point of the city. Much more better constructed, better fortified, more encampments. It's closer to the military side of the city. And yeah, from there you are brought to the Governor's Palace. It's unlike the unfired clay and kind of shingling that the other houses are made out of. This is made out of actual carved and reinforced wood. It's a large palatial kind of looking estate. It's official.
Okay.
And yeah, you're brought up to it and guided through. Eventually, you are brought into a room with a older, weathered man, Governor Wu Jiang. Yes. So, within the wooden and lacquered corridors of the governor's palace, there are the large kind of paper folding doors, lanterns, gold filigreed iconography, jade inlaid art pieces. This place has been very well kept and given the kind of respect it deserves as the center point of the town's operation. In a small side room that doesn't seem to quite serve as his office, but it's just a room he will meet you in. Older, severe-looking man. He's in magistrate's robes, that have a very simple and kind of almost uniform feel to it. Whereas many people kind of embroider and make their attire gaudy. His is strict, severe, function. His face is pockmarked with old wounds and signs of malnourishment or weathering from extended military campaigns. And he kind of holds himself not uneven, but in the way that, parts of him would probably have been crippled from a lifetime of military activity. This is a man who gets his hands dirty. Yeah, he signs off on essentially some paperwork. He gives a seal to it, and people leave the room. There are guards posted outside the room, but they're not, they don't have a presence in here, but this place is garrisoned. You get the feeling that he is very much in control of the area. I believe this is the first time we've met in person. You're the half-man.
It is good to meet you in person, yes, Governor. Grant, at your service.
I am Loudling.
It looks like he's searching for the word in his head to describe you that isn't viciously dismissive.
The dropout.
Yeah, no, he's looking for the opposite of that.
Scholar?
The cultural traveler.
Yes.
Hazel.
Right words, as you say. From the Thousand Gods.
Yes,
You are the devout of Okami.
that's right.
It is a pleasure to have you in Yizhao during this time. I'm glad you saw fit to take up our offer of mediation between the Regency and Confronting.
I felt it best to deal with this as soon as possible, given the alternatives.
What have you heard of the issues going on with Yizhao or its significance to the Dolombin war effort?
What would I have heard, actually?
Yizhao provides a large amount of resources to the military. Yizhao basically double dips. Like, they provide the taxation that is required of all cities in Dolombai, and the governor basically personally ensures a second helping of it goes directly to the war effort. So Yizhao is basically producing a double capacity for what Dolombai would want.
So it's not like going thing. Instead of going to multiple people, though, it goes to just the war effort.
Yeah. It also is basically the fortress kind of strategic point between Raktine and Dolombai itself. It's been like this forever.
Yes, I know you are the kind of the central point of defense for Dolombai. Much of the war effort relies on the city, its fortress.
You've been instructed well. Yizhao is a critical juncture for the war. If this city were to fall, the miscreants and barbarians from Raktine would flood in with their monster children.
A linchpin, if it were.
Yes. Though there are some in the Dolombian courts that do not see it this way. They do not appreciate the precariousness of Yizhao's situation.
And I imagine you do have a situation, a very serious one, to have called upon the likes of us.
Yes, as you've surely noted, he kind of just gestures at all. There's like sigils and ceiling signs kind of plastered all across this entire building. One of the major points of this city is that it is supernaturally warded. It has a infrastructure put in place, a cultural artifact, a altar of heaven that wards this place entirely from any of the foul curses and black magic that would come from the north. This altar has an emotion to it, a feelings. It gets moody, it gets upset, it gets vengeful when people act outside their station, when people don't follow the proper way to live.
Much like God itself.
It mediates upon the philosophy of the true king, the ancient cultural God King.
Surely it can't. If every time a person stepped out of line it caused this level of issues, your city would be in ruins.
It is focused more on the ruling caste's actions, the bureaucratic processes, the authority. People are simply reconditioned when they act out of line. But for it to take revenge on the city, in a way you will see, the Yizhao itself is being plagued by destructive storms. It's been happening for a year now. The city will cloud over in a matter of minutes and will be ravaged by lightning and winds and hail and destruction, ripping apart buildings, killing people, dozens at a time sometimes. And then it'll pass. This is heaven striking back at the city. And it would only do so in such a way if someone under me, but over the Shio-Ren, had committed an atrocity to heaven upon the same level of treason to the regent himself.
I assume you've been policing the nobility quite a bit since this has started. Nothing has seemed out of the ordinary.
I've been told by and he rolls his eyes, caretaker of the altar, that the significance of the altar's vengeance, its punishment, would have to be in response to a conspiracy so foul and so treacherous that it would have to involve perhaps hundreds, perhaps dozens of people looking to work against the regent or the true king himself. Nothing short of an uncreated cult or Raktine itself having infiltrated the city.
Is there any pattern has there been any pattern that's emerged from the people the city kills?
Just
storms?
it ravages the city, and whoever is unlucky enough to be caught in its wake is slain. Yesterday, some Junzai. A week before, 24 people who lived in a slum house, crushed under hail and poor construction.
Out of character question.
Yeah.
When you say you have to commit to effort to do any magic, that's even if the magic itself doesn't.
If you need to commit effort for anything else, you need to first commit to effort.
So if the gift doesn't require effort, then you don't have to commit effort?
I don't think so.
Like all the constants work, and so on. Just
Yeah, if any of your gifts say commit effort, you have to commit that to effort to rewards.
Okay, because some a lot of my gifts are either constant or don't say that they require effort, so I can just do that.
Yeah, let me pause and we'll double check that to be sure. Yeah, anything that requires you to commit effort, you have to commit to the Imperium Wards.
Okay.
Was that a follow-up to like a power or something, or?
No, I just wanted to know. I'm also just looking over my gifts to see which of my stuff requires effort and which doesn't.
Anyway, every 7 days we're ravaged by a destruction, a calamitous storm. It'll rip into the city, it'll cause untold damage, it'll cause death, and then it will leave, and it's not getting better. This has been going on for almost a year at this point, and it's starting to reach an unmanageable peak.
As though someone is intentionally trying to goad the city into its own destruction.
Perhaps. All I know is that someone would be having to... This is a conspiracy. This would have to be a conspiracy so perverse that it seems impossible that it would be secret.
Exactly. After you said a year?
It's been on for a year. In the last 3 months, it's gotten worse.
Yes. Something like that would be very hard to hide.
And any Dolumbian would have caught on. Any Dolumbian who would do something like this would catch on to this causing their own destruction. They would know. I can't picture
Perhaps
anyone
they
doing
would have
this.
left.
If they left, wouldn't the storms have stopped?
Precisely.
Yeah.
It has to be someone... It must be someone who is Junzai, who is within who is within an authoritative position in the pattern.
What nationality?
And we're back. Yes, whatever is causing this has to be within, and the Regency is not pleased with the continuing destruction to the city, as it represents a severe undermining of the regent himself. These storms are an open declaration that someone is working against Dolombai itself and its people in a perverse way.
Doesn't look good on anyone involved.
Well, more importantly, it doesn't look good on me. It's very hard to... It is more difficult to put forward the urgency of Yizhao being a focal point of the northern war defense when it is flagrantly disrespecting the Regency.
And he hasn't been lying or deceiving us at all.
No.
Okay.
As far as he knows, this is the truth.
I definitely feel we can help each other here.
It's very good. The storms need to stop. We cannot take down the altar. The altar defends us from the Ractine front. The altar must stay in place. And it is also a cultural artifact. It is from the True King. It cannot be removed. There is no replacement for it. There is nothing that could take over for what it does.
Yes, to destroy it would be to expose a great weakness, not only in this fortress city, but in Dolombai itself.
It is also a cultural artifact, and that would look extremely bad if I were to be the hand that retired such a thing. It would be to gainsay the True King itself, and to gainsay the regent who had it established.
And I'm sure there are plenty who are looking to take your place with such scandal.
Speaking of the censor,
Oh.
Ah, he was a censor in town, of course.
Yes, the Regency has sent a royal censor to investigate the corruption. He is shockingly efficient at his job. He's been here not too long. I don't know if he's made any serious headway, but he would be the person to touch base with and shake for information.
His name?
Liang. Liang is a favorite among the courts. He is good at his job. He has not failed to deliver on corruption in areas that he's been rooting for. He seems to find it wherever he looks.
How convenient.
Yes, he got a fairly gilded feather in his cap, so to speak, when he brought down the horrific corruption coming from the Fang family, a other censorious lineage of censors. They happen to be his family's direct rivals, so it's serendipity that he was able to remove such a corruption from the city.
How very fortuitous.
Well, I'm sure we can speak with him, figure out if he has any leads, and beat him to them.
Anyone else?
There are other people in the city that I would recommend reaching that are important to this. Noan Tomor. He is a stalwart ally of Yizhao. I've worked with him for years. I've had his archer riders, his horsemen. We've hired them out to assist the garrison and help with raiding Rakhtine and pushing back against their monsters. I've heard word that his riders might have found something. Noyan he's good. He's very zealous in his pursuit of game. He's been pushing for harsher and harsher raids against the Confederacy, but we're at an impasse with these storms. If you were looking into the investigation about why the altar would respond this way, you should see Faye. Her title is Beautiful Sage. She is the greatest philosopher and scholar on the pattern, and that's with her being a she. There is no equal in the city. She seems to have a complete understanding of it. If anyone would be able to suss out what exactly could be causing this crime, it would be her. If the altar itself perhaps is acting in a way that contradicts reality, then it would be prudent to spend at least some time looking at its caretaker, Prince Yao.
A prince here in the city?
Yes. The Regency has seen fit to assign his little brother here to lead the altar. He's of the blood, so his blood has the value in that it allows the altar to be controlled. As the Regent's blood courses through him in some form.
This is the heresy line. He's really skirting that edge.
He's harmless, so seek him out if you must. And other than the censor, there would be Mother Fuhan. She is the head of the money in the city, the merchants, the dealers, the business people.
She might have an in on any corruption that may be occurring.
She is any corruption that may be occurring. One does not acquire wealth in such a way in Dulumbai without having their hands and honor dirty.
How long has she been in town?
She's lived here her whole life.
Presumably then it would have been acting up before now.
Perhaps, unless she was working against the Regency in some way for her small-minded greed.
She might have undertaken darker things within the past year.
Stepped up her game.
Her and her business people have been complaining about the taxation in the city. They feel like they don't need to pay their fair share.
And I assume her wealth leaves her not untouchable, but
Her
difficult.
wealth is the regent's wealth, and I feel that perhaps I have not had a firm enough hand in reminding the money people in that fact. Despite the fact that governors before me have been much stricter with taxes and much more lax with the war effort, they feel I am being unfair. They assume that they presume that my popularity with them is relevant, and thus I could see them in a very small-minded way trying to upset the natural order of things and rebel.
Very small-minded.
But if one were to know things that my people would not know, or my people do know and are being paid not to know, it would be her.
I assume everyone on this list you just gave us is Yizhao. But what about
No.
Tomor?
The only person who would be Yizhao would be myself, the prince, and the censor.
Well, then it wouldn't be Mother Fu, would it?
Or the sage.
That doesn't mean she doesn't have a hand in it. She deals with a lot of people.
Yes, a conspiracy. And Tomor wouldn't be involved. He believes in the Regency as much as I do, even if he's not local. Him and his horse riders are our cousins, of course.
Of course.
Ooh. They're cousins with a capital C?
No, they're Tobin.
Okay.
They're Tobin. Our, and he gestures to Nicole, our cousins from across the border.
Is that
They're
everyone?
basically the Mongol horde. He hired 1,000 of them.
Oh yeah, there's an entire country of Mongolians, basically. Like
Yeah, like Genghis Khan and shit that are just relatives of Dulumbai. Like, they're just a branch off. Romulans and Vulcans, basically. And he's like, hey. And they're like, hey.
it's a place literally full of like kaiju.
Yeah, they have a great time with it. They love it. It's the best. They're doing nothing but killing big monsters and having fun with it.
Monster
One of my
Hunter.
characters was gonna come from there actually. The feral.
But yeah, they also came from the original invasion from wherever the Dulumbians came from, and they just split off and formed their own horseback Dothraki culture.
A game in there would be really cool.
Yeah. But no, I do not believe that Tomor or the Sage or, of course, the Censor or the Prince has anything to do with this. Mother Han, I believe she would know something, but she won't be coming to us with that information, as the continuation of the storms is good for her because it's bad for me. Once I'm gone, someone more mercantile could be put in place.
We'll be sure to speak with everyone involved.
Avoid the storms.
Do they come at random?
Every 7 days.
Every 7 days.
Yesterday, the last one came yesterday.
6 days. Assuming the week is the same here. Yeah.
Yeah, the storm will be brutal and destructive.
Do you have shelters available for civilians? Not for us, of course. Simply, how do you handle it every week?
It comes and destruction happens.
Since it's caused by a actual force, I assume hiding from it would do no good. It would simply seek other ways to punish. Huh. Either way, yes, we will get on this.
Like gestures to you two. Do you have any questions?
So, what are we getting out of it?
Ah, there it is.
I didn't, out of character, I didn't want to ask. I was like, when is that going to be brought up? I hope it gets brought up.
Grant already has the offer. You two are like...
You three are foreign divinities. He gestures to you in the way that's like, yes, I know you're not foreign, but
Yeah, you're foreign divinity.
As foreign divinities, it is incredibly illegal for the cults you've been forming. I, even though I now run this place, previously held the ear of a vast amount of the Regency's court and the Regent himself. I would be the person that would make the proper connections for you to have legal cults and worship and dedicated temples.
That's all it takes for me.
I mean, we'll be staying here. We'll probably need to access those wards that are here because they're hampering our abilities.
I can give the word, but the prince is the one that would oversee that. And unfortunately, it would be inadvisable for me to give you access to the wards in such a way that would allow you to be bonded to them. Because if there are any incidents that come from that, that would be my head.
Additionally, if the ward is acting unstable or dangerous, being connected to it could also possibly not be in our best interest.
I cannot allow 3 foreign divinities to bond with the ward. Unless the investigation proves fruitful quickly. Simply because I would be gainsaying the Regency.
So if we start bringing you immediate info that proves fruitful, yes.
Solve the storms, you could bond with the wards, and start working over other things for other rewards. I'm sure there are many parts of Yizhao that could be resolved with 3 competent, resourceful divinities that would provide a mutual relationship between us and the Regency. Stop the storms, or find the culprit, or prevent the censor from coming to any unfortunate conclusions about my governing of this place.
We're also not nobility, so no matter what we do, it's not going to cause an issue with the...
I will, of course, provide you with credentials and the proper registration to push your investigation. None of the people I've listed would be able to refuse you.
Excellent.
You, of course, cannot break the laws or do anything untowards. But you have your foot in the door with all these people.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I
Aren't
think
there
that's
any
all we
additional
need.
questions?
Stop the storms. If you can stop the storms, we will be in a much stronger position.
All right.
Let's go.
Alright, and he dismisses you, but he's like, all right, yeah, and he lets you go. He lets you leave.
Makes crazy faces.
Right? Alright, at that. Alright, we're back. So, you leave the governor's palace and remove yourself from the Empyrean wards that are oppressing you.
Stop oppressing me.
And Yizhao is before you. The city is built into, divided into several districts that are all walled in between each other. The Banner District is where you are right now. It's the barracks for the military force of 5,000 goddamn people. It holds the governor's palace that you just left. Noyan Tomor's house. And it is adjacent to the Silver District, which is where you came in from. Silver District is the docks and the goods and the trade and the slummy, kind of the slumminess, and it has Mother Fuhan's big painted home because she's a money person that's rich. The Incense District is Taoist shrines and churches and arcanists and hedge wizards. It's magic and stuff. The Flower District is the Entertainment District. Brothels, tea houses, theaters, entertainment. That kind of place.
Anyone that lives there?
No, actually.
No one important is going to live in the poor district.
The Mulberry District is off limits to you guys unless you want to meet the prince, because he lives in the prince area, because he has to be right by the altar, because the altar's in there. But you are told not to go in there and someone just tells you it's where they live.
Who's they?
You know, like the citizens we had to separate from the rest of them.
Is there a plague?
Yeah.
Yes, but not that way.
The re-educated ones?
The reconditioned citizens.
Well, that's a new word for it.
They are reconditioned and are made loyal, but in a very different way. So we had to seal them off so they'd stop hurting non-reconditioned people.
This is a function of the... I don't remember what it's called.
Altar of
The altar?
Heaven.
Yeah, sometimes heaven gets mad at a citizen and fixes them so they're more in line with the pattern, says the guy you're talking to.
This sounds amazing.
Listeners can't see the looks Nicole's face is going through.
And they have to be locked up?
They are very... they follow all the laws, every law, even the ones that you can't follow without contradicting other laws. And if they see people who don't follow the law, they demand they be punished appropriately. And if they don't get punished appropriately, they get riley.
I see.
They are very loyal to the pattern and the true king and the regency and the right way of things. So we put them in the Mulberry district near the altar where they can be good. And he leaves off the location that everyone else can be bad. Oh, sorry, continue.
I'd say our best bets are the censor and the horse lord as a start.
I mean, the sage might know something about what's going on, what's wrong.
And then there's the Iron District. It's the largest district. It takes up the biggest footprint, and it is a 24/7 ironwork, timber, cloth weaving industry center. Like, it's where all of Yizhao's focus goes into. It is constantly producing material for the war.
Cool.
Why do you think the Horse Lord will be helpful?
He sees the coming and goings. He might know if someone infiltrated, if anything seems strange.
It's also allies of the governor.
The governor said he found something.
Yeah, exactly. He might be just someone to talk to.
I don't remember the governor saying he found something. I don't remember that.
He did.
What did he say?
He said that his men saw something on patrol.
Okay. I didn't remember that. Okay.
All right. So you're going to go see Noyan Tomor, the Tobin Scout.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So, yeah, you are led to, or you're given directions to the House of Tomor. It's in the Banner District, right where you are. It's the barracks that the horsemen live in, the Tobins. Not the best barracks because this place is a hole covered in pollution. But, vast stables of horses, enough horses so that there's like 2 to 2.5 per Tobin. So there's 1,000 Tobin, maybe 3,000 horses here, all being cared for and like kept healthy. And they're, Dothraki/Mongol horde horses. They're big, strong, fuck you up stock. And then there's the guys that use them, who are like crazy hunter people that are like, murder bowmen and swordsmen and dragoons who use horses as a way to swiftly jump off, murder someone and get back on, using reaping scythes and lances. These people are different from the Dolumbians you're used to. They're not like a unified military force. They're more like a swarming horde that are just ready to kill you. They wear furs and heavy leather armors, and a lot of them have that kind of, I'm gonna keep using it, the Dothraki aesthetic. They're like that. They're these guys that are all like, yeah, let's go. Tomor has like his own kind of house built into the barracks that's for him. And when you come on through, they all kind of see you guys, and word has spread like wildfire through town that, there are wandering divinities here. So, they give you a berth, but not like a fearful one, more like, oh, all right, they're here now. Neat.
We're important.
Yeah.
Man, what I wouldn't do for one of those horses at like 1/3 its size.
Sure, you could breed them, keep them when they're young, and then sell them when they get too big.
Maybe.
Yeah, a lot of these are like strong stock. A lot of them are built for like draft, like just pulling and like, endurance. Some are for speed and are a lot like thinner and lankier. There's a lot of animals here. And just a lot of activity. Yeah, a few of the guys kind of like start to guide you through, shooting questions at you. You ever killed a man before? What's your deal? How are you so small?
Every time I kill a man, I shrink an inch. Once I was 12 feet tall.
They love that. They notice that you got like a crossbow, and they're like, taking a jab at you for it. It's like, oh, crossbow, eh?
Yeah. What of it?
It's just, you don't see those often out here. How good are you at it? And they like point at a target.
Yeah. He just reaches out with one hand, kind of covers his eyes, and shoots it.
Everyone loves that. Everyone's high-fiving you. You're gonna need rotator cuff surgery because you're the best. From all the high fives.
They get a lot of leverage on those high fives.
You're like, Jesus Christ.
Why are they hitting me in the hand?
What is this? Oh, God.
Is that an attack?
Is that an attack roll?
Roll initiative.
Yeah, the house, like the interior is like, has a nice kind of, almost like a sauna-like amount of smoke in here. It's very humid, it's very warm and hot. There are skins all over the wall, trophies, the twisted horns of like, two-headed elks that have been pinned to the wall, claws from monsters, just large like buffalo. A fire pit in the middle of the room that has like different logs and like skins put over top of it to like hotbox the place. And there's just jugs of like rice wine and a fermented drink that you can't quite discern but does not look awesome. It's like a thick cottage cheese of alcohol.
Oh, they have fermented fucking horse milk.
Yeah, they do.
Glug, glug, glug.
Yeah, they do. Welcome to your tape.
Still can't believe your people make wine out of rice. Miserable shit.
Right? Says Tomor. Big dude, strapping. He has like pants on. That's basically it. He has a skin over his waist. On his back is a bow. The bow is about 1.5 times bigger than like a strong archery bow, and has like sutras wrapped around it and like twisting antlers that it's carved out of, and the string itself seems to be made out of gold thread. It's magic. It's blessed. Hashtag.
Magic missile.
Oh yeah, I could totally hurt you guys. Yeah, that stuff sucks, but you get what you take. I'm Noyan Tobor.
Grant.
Lauling.
Azazel.
Oh man, look at you.
Yep.
Oh man. I've heard of you. You're the poet.
Yes, musician.
Nice.
Yeah, the governor told us that you might have info for us regarding...
What's going on here?
Yeah.
You're talking about the storms?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of information on that. It's a little bit above my pay grade. But I do have something you can do for me. In exchange for things not related to Yizhao.
Such as?
I've been trying to get the governor to finance a raid on Racktime. Okay, the governor's pretty pro-war, you can tell if you've met him, right?
Yes.
Good way to
Jiang does not cover that up. But he's been rebuking me for the last little while. Ragtime has been consolidating. Their raiders have been coming into here. They've been harassing the people that live on the border. Not the people here in Yizhao, but further out, there's border people. And they've been sending more monsters down. The problem is, we're technically not allowed to cross the border. So, I can't go and raid in there, and my men are getting stir-crazy over it. I figure a good solid raid will let us go in, kill everyone we see, bring back their bodies and pillage the place, burn to the ground any city we come across. That'll keep them out of Yizhao for a good solid while.
Take the stress off its back while it's dealing with all this shit.
Right? Problem is, we're going to lose people, obviously. That's what raids are about. And it's going to cost money. I mean, we're not technically part of Dolombai. Jian is paying my horde to be here. He's actually paying for double the amount of people that usually get assigned to a city like this. He's really putting the money into the city for the defenses. But he doesn't have the money to do it. So my thing is, if I could get people to go and kind of soften it up ahead of time, and maybe convince Jiang to sign off on it, we can go on through.
I thought you said you didn't have the money.
Well, okay, there's another half to that. I know where the money is in town. And if we were to eliminate the person holding on to it, we could take that money, give it to me, and then we could go on that raid. We wouldn't have the Regency's permission. We'd be doing it without their permission. But if we're successful, we wouldn't even have to beg forgiveness afterwards. They'd love that. But if too many of my men die or we lose too much resources in the raid, then Jiang will probably be killed. Not me, though. I'll come out smelling like a rose.
Kind of risking your friend's career here, aren't you?
I mean, his career's already on the chopping block with that censor here. He needs a win. And my men need the murder.
So who's this money holder that...
There's this woman in town called Fuchan. She controls the money. She controls the business. She is a tough broad. But if she's removed, whatever person replaces her will be weak and pliable, and will know that murder is not out of the question. So we can just take the money without the merchants getting up in our grill about it.
So you're asking us to assassinate someone for you in exchange for...
Make her go away. Make her not be in control of the merchants. That'd free up the money that the city would need. Plus, we could probably make most of it back raiding. But we gotta play for horses, feed the families of the people that are gonna die on this raid. It's not gonna be... It might pay for itself in the long run, and it'll give the city security, which will lessen the amount of patrols and the resources we have to spend anyway on the people on the border. If the people on the border are happy, there's a lot less complaints going back to the Regency, and Yichao's in a better position.
When was the last time you had an actual incursion on the city?
On the city? The city doesn't get incursions. It's a fortress.
No one's ever attacked?
That's not what the city's here for. The city is well within Dolombai territory. It's the people that live on the border regions that are being harassed. That's where we defend. Yichao's fine. Yizhao has stone walls and 4,000 men stationed in it at all times, and is constantly pumping out soldier armor.
So how often are the surrounding towns attacked then?
Daily. Not just Ragtime Raiders either. Not just those thieving sorcerers. Also monsters. Freaks.
Sounds like you're risking a lot here just for a raid.
That's what we're here for. We're 1,000 hordes strong. We sweep on in through the borderlands, up past into Ragtime territory. We do an actual incursion into it. We kill off every single Ragtime we find and monster. We don't go into the forests. No one goes into the forests. But if the borderlands are wiped clean, it'll discourage anyone from coming on through for the foreseeable future.
Also letting Tobin, they're called?
No, the Tobin.
Letting a Tobin horde go stir crazy in Yizhao is not something.
Recipe for disaster. My
They're,
son's
they're
a
not known for their patience.
my son's a real piece of shit, and he's gonna start shit sometime soon.
Well, maybe we can speak with his mother, what's her face, and see what her deal is.
Plus, I should point out, just to sweeten the pot, if wealth and prizes and don't interest you.
Well, you didn't also mention.
Well, I mean, you go first. I don't want my people being massacred. You go first and find any of the real horrors in there. A small team of 3 or whatever. Go through, find anything that's big, kill it. So my guys can go through and just kill like people. Like the monsters, the big monsters, they are the ones who eat up most of our resources anyway. Kill those first. Leave the people alive, like the raider camps and the bandits and the malcontents and the sorcerers. We can take care of those. 3 people going in and killing monsters isn't a big deal, but if a horde of Tobin horse archers come on through and some survivors run back to Racktime to let them know that a sweeping horde of archers came through, that's the fear. But if they see, 50 of my men get killed by a bison that breathes fire, then no one's going to care about that.
Will this weaken our position in Yizhao if word gets out that we went into?
I mean, not all of you look like you're from around here. I mean, are you Jinzai? Do you work for the Regency?
No.
No, what's happening? You're just a bunch of strangers going and murdering people. No one says no to that. People love that.
I think the big danger
They have a
here-
word for it. It's called war.
I think the big danger here is us fumbling our position with Mother Han.
I mean, yeah, if you want to negotiate with her, fine, but she's a stone cold bitch. She's working with that asshole censor to undermine Jiang.
Oh, really?
Oh, they're up to something. They're going to try and pin this on him and have him killed so that she can have more control over the replacement. And she's paying off, and I think she's paying off the censor.
That would not surprise me. He doesn't have the most stunning of reputations. Also,
I mean, I'd pay off the censor if I could, but I don't want to. And if I was the censor, I'd take the money. Also, he's a manipulative prick.
yes, they're not supposed to do that, though.
Right? I confronted him about this kind of stuff before, and he started to, he just started talking at myself and Jiang. He just started talking about nonsense, about their stupid pattern and the order of things, and everyone's in their place. And it was all bullshit. But Jiang was, completely convinced that this was absolutely, a real thing. He just talked circles around us for an hour. It was all nonsense to me, but Jiang was like, oh man, that guy was completely right. It was nuts.
I've seen that type before. I'm that type.
Right?
Definitely we shouldn't agree to anything before talking to any of the others.
Yeah, doesn't mean we won't do it for you. It just means no
Yeah.
promises.
It's all good. But if you do go on the raid and do the scouting for me, at the very edge of where we want to go, there's some new city that's been founded. And my horse guys, the scouts I sent through without permission, they saw people from the city there. From here.
That sounds interesting.
Right?
Yeah, how many people? What do you mean?
I don't have the specifics. They were drunk.
Well, you said a city, though.
Like a town. I don't know, at least maybe 100 people. Just living in the Racktime borderlands and some of them are from Yizhao. Some of them were noble women.
Have there been reports of noble women going missing?
I mean, yeah.
People die in the storms all the time. So it's
Sure.
one unfound body being
That's
swept
what-
away in the river.
No, I don't have a lot of specifics. It was just 2 guys I sent through. They were at the end. They were going to turn around, turn back after going that deep in. They had a few celebratory, rounds the night before, so they don't have a lot of the details down. But there's a whole town out there.
Around where is this town?
It's deep in the Racktime borderlands.
Don't take out a map.
He can show you where
Yeah.
it is approximately.
I'm does he know any kind of?
Get a quest marker.
It's basically on the route he wants you to take anyway. Like, there's Ractine in there, and there are Dolombians in there. We'll wipe them out.
In the city, there's both Ractine and
Yeah, it's like a little, homeless person town.
Defectors,
Vagrants.
possibly.
People that we will kill when we go on through. It'll be great.
We don't want you killing Colombian citizens.
Hey, no. They're not citizens if they're living in the Ractine side of the border.
Oh, they're on the Ractine side. You said near the borderline. I thought you meant on our side.
No, that's the whole point of sending you guys and my people in, because it'd be breaching it'd be an invasion, it'd be an act of war.
Yes, but you said it was in like the borderland, like between
The borderlands
us
has-
on their side.
Alright, anyway. Yeah.
Well, we'll see about funding this shit, possibly. And, we'll see where it goes from there.
Yep.
Yeah. Get rid of Mother Fu.
Okay. Do you want to go out to check this out, or do you want to check something else in the city first?
We should stay in the city. Oh.
Real quick. Anyway, if you do the scouting run for me, I'm pretty sure that if you clear out the things we don't want to deal with and just leave the bandits and whatnot intact, make it look like a soft target raid, that'll be all I need to convince Zhang to go through with it. Plus, as for Mother Fu and the the censor, I know that she's bribing him because some of my guys were hired to protect the silver shipments she sent to him.
The silver shipment.
Yeah, like ingots of silver.
Where would the shipment be?
It's already gone to him.
Dang.
But, when I heard about it, because my guys were paid, they're not going to say no to work. They got paid, they did the shipment, and then they came to me. Me and Jiang went to the censor and were like, you're clearly being bribed, you fat piece of shit. And he just talked at Jiang, and Jiang's like, oh no, he clearly isn't being bribed. That's insane. He just talked about philosophy and ignorant people growing up in a cave, and he just went on and on and on.
Hey, you let us know if you get word from your men about another bribe going through, and maybe we can intercept that.
Yeah,
Payment.
you can even keep some of it too.
Well, if we do that, well, she's bribing him, so if she stops, if that money doesn't go through, I'm sure that won't go well for her.
Yeah, we can even see about you keeping some of it too if you want. I don't know. That money might just go into the raid, but you never know.
Oh yeah, I don't mind a few extra pieces of silver going my way.
People like money?
I do.
Usually, yes.
People like money. So yeah, hey, just go ahead. That'd be great. Soften up the targets in there. Might be perfect, and I can use that as leverage to get us raiding on through. You can even accompany the raid for us to head to that little town.
All right.
Yeah, I need the whole area scouted out so we know what we're going to be expecting. I can provide you with horses too. The whole trip could take you guys no more than 3 days.
Hey, all right.
Perfect. Just come back and let me know. We'll send you on your way.
What do you say, scouting?
3 days when we only have 6 till the next storm. May want to talk to people first.
Yeah.
True enough, while we have the opportunity.
Plus, out of game, you don't really have to, do it before the next storm. You just have to fix the problem.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it takes you a week or like a month or whatever.
Yeah, probably they'll be like, oh yeah, they're investigating the tower. And then, oh, they came in, talked to one person, left.
They've been investigating this place they've been investigating this for a year, so I don't think they're expecting us to be like, oh, fix it in a week.
It's like, what happened? It's like, oh, they went 3 days out of town. It's like, I guess they got a lead and come back. It's like, hey, we have a lead. It's like, yeah, there you go. That's how this works. We hired fucking gods to look into this.
They do shit.
We paid them in servants. We
Yeah,
paid them in actual immortal souls.
worshippers. I'm all for that.
Oh. Maybe better than ancestor worship.
Alright, so people left on the list is Liang, Fei, Zhao, and Han.
Why don't we speak with Faye?
Very well.
Beautiful Sage Fae.
All right. You'll have to send out word that you want to meet with her, and her family will arrange a meeting place with you guys.
Huh.
It'll take about a day. Is that all right?
Yep.
Sure.
Perfect. So, in between that day, do you want to do anything else?
I want to talk to someone else. The censor, Mother Han. That is her name, right? Mother Han?
Fuhan.
Fuhan.
May as well get her out of the way as well.
Yeah.
Considering.
No finger guns.
She has one hit die.
Oh no.
It'd be so easy.
Dude, you're a Grant. Just do it Shadow of Mordor style. Put your hand on her face and turn her into an undead.
I could do that.
You work for me now.
Secret vampire.
Oh, shit.
You're not even a fucking, Jinzai, so that's not gonna disrupt anything.
Are vampires over 6 hit die? Sorry to ask. What have you done?
Alright, so we're back. Yeah, you want to meet with Mother Fuhan? That's fine, because some fishermen are here. They just show up while you guys are walking and talking and setting up to meet the sage. They're poor, gap-toothed, beaten down looking dudes in muddy, filthy Shioran clothing. And they approach you hats in hand. Good day, my gods.
Good day.
We were wondering if you could do our boss a favor and just come on up for a meet and greet.
Who's your boss?
Mother Fuhan, she's the matriarch of the Silver District. Kind, gentle, generous, he's lying to you. Even-handed Mother Fuhan, who has never once lashed out at the innocent or the downtrodden. He's lying to you.
What a lovely sounding lady.
So
We'd be glad to meet with her.
Perfect. She just asked us to come and invite you, so we decided to volunteer to come on down. She's lying to you.
We'll go do that right now.
Thank you very much. Let's guide you there. I'm so happy to be alive.
Did you tell the truth? Oh no.
Oh no.
He's lying. I can use necromancy on him because he's already dead.
Cup boils over.
Hell crown beckons. Oh yeah, this place is just like this entire city is just packed down on bones. If you want to do like zombie horde, even the bones.
Yeah. So the whole city collapses because they're all built into the fucking infrastructure.
What is this? Attack on Titan?
Yes.
Mediocre.
If somebody just rising up from the streets, those mud-covered streets.
Bone! I reject bones.
I need to pay my taxes.
Is that what someone shouts before they get that puppeteer plague? I reject bone. I reject bone.
Okay, so yeah, these two poor dudes guide you back to the Silver District where your shit's at. Along the way, as you're walking, there's a loud crack, and just down the street, one of the house's shingles slides off, and 5 separate shingles hit 5 separate people in the skull, killing them instantly.
Are they 200 feet away from me? Or like
Yes.
within? Okay, I'm going to activate Withholding the Mercy so that they don't die and stabilize. He's like, holy shit.
And yeah, they're out. You're withholding the mercy on them, though.
Yeah.
They're all twitching on the ground like that guy from Rick and Morty. Ooh-wee.
I mean, none of us has health.
Yeah,
I have
that's just
fertility.
constant though, so I can just hold that forever. Like they stabilize, so they're not like in risk of dying. They're just super unconscious with broken skulls.
People are gathering around. They look sad, but they're like... They kind of just shrug. It happens. They're
Buried.
consoling. Are they alive? Like, are you able to, like, keep them alive?
Yeah, that's literally it. They stabilize.
Cool.
Knocked out.
Yeah. Those are reduced to 0 hit dice or hit points within 200 feet of you automatically stabilize. Or die, as you wish. I could just be like, no, that's not a Skyrim style. You're stunned. That's literally you're dead.
Some dog. They get like an alley surgeon to come on out and try to help these guys. And I don't know, what do you make it known that you're using your death magic, your hand of the Grim Reaper?
Like, given his hand is literally like this black husk that seeps the mist of Ravenloft. Yes, he's like, yeah, you want to deal with that.
All right, well, they're able to pull the shingling out, and I guess if they're stabilized, their skulls pop back into place. Like a reverse Kinder Surprise. The surprise stays inside. So no American children will choke on it. Like a big, dumb animal.
Yeah, I also have the one where I can just bring them back from the dead, but that sounds like effort that I'd have to spend, so...
I need to take a day nap.
Basically. I mean, I could do that just because, I have a month before, yeah. But no, yeah, he just stabilizes them.
Oh, wow, yeah, everyone loves that you save these people's lives.
They care so much.
And the brain.
And the brain damage. Oh, wow, you guys really went on in and saved those people from the wrath of heaven. That's a miracle.
Grant just kind of glances over to where they're unconscious and badly injured. He's like,
Ooh-wee.
yeah, that sure saved them.
One of those two porters that came to you, kind of like they're talking to you. He just kind of puts your hand on his shoulders, like, "Take me with you."
Wait, you want to come? Like, sure, why not? You're hired.
I pledge my soul to the half-man, the half-alive, half-dead god.
Okay, so...
Do you have like a holy symbol?
Oh, yeah,
A visible holy symbol?
Oh, what would it be exactly?
What would Grant's holy symbol be? Is it a black hand covered in mist?
Actually, yeah, it probably would be. Clutching a timepiece, or a symbol of time.
Man, that's really complex. I was just imagining a black hand covered in mist.
That works, yeah.
Okay, that dude is immediately going to start carving that into his chest.
Whoa. Okay. So, rule one. No half-man shit. I get that enough as it is. No half-man shit. And second of all, no, that's fine, actually. You just keep on doing that.
I mean, you have
Does
those
it look
flames
good?
among things.
No. But
Okay.
it's close enough. He's expecting you to use your god magic to make sure he doesn't get sepsis.
Endurance.
There we go. Alright, he's pledged himself to you, so when he dies, he's going to half-man heaven.
Half man, half house, waiting for the heaven to be
Where
built.
everyone's my size.
I'm a giant here. I'm a big man.
Wait, yeah, everyone there's in like these tiny houses and they're tiny size. Grant's just like regular size. I feel big. Like that one city where bodybuilders go to, that's tiny, so they feel bigger.
That's not real, is it?
It's real.
It is. It's amazing.
Oh my god!
Everything's at 75% size.
That's amazing.
So bodybuilders feel huge. I know, right?
Mac would love that.
Yeah, I was thinking Big Mac from Always Sunny, right? I was big as a house.
So yeah, once they're stabilized and being taken care of, I think we're good to go on to Fuhan's house.
Alright, that guy's not going to lead you to Fuhan's. He's going to go to the party boat and hang out there.
Of eternal orgies, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
You
he's
did
got the
god
symbol on him.
magic.
Now he won't be torn apart by ghoul lords when he steps on.
Yes.
Go to the party bro, go down below, get in the barrel.
Because given I brought them up, I'm sure they can sense when someone's like one of my cultists. So.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like, yeah, they can know who your worshippers are. Boop, 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 boop.
Awesome.
I mean, they're your worshippers. They have a soul, too. They pledge their soul to you.
Yep.
True enough, yeah.
So they know, you can kill this guy whenever you want.
I want to take any sort of delimitation on him.
Yeah, you just, like, torture him forever. As a Godbound of your level, you can just be like, dead.
Yeah. Congrats, you're now serving in my eternal army.
He's like, okay. I reject life.
I reject taxes.
Anyway, the other porter leads you to the Silver District where that guy was already going. That guy just kind of like beelines away from you directly to the boat. He like just starts taking his clothes off, his poor, ugly, muddy clothes. Like, he just starts stripping to walk onto the boat.
Perfect.
Good God.
Those people's lives are miserable. cartoonishly so. I've read the book, man. These people live shitty lives. If a bunch of gods of life and death and awesome are going to show up, yeah, people are going to start just leaving.
I'm sure the higher ups are going to appreciate that over time. They invited us here. They're going to legitimize us and be like, oh wait, oh god, no. Where's all our workers?
All right, you brought a bunch of winding, clickety-clackety steps that are like poorly put together that leads up and up and up to this large, gaudy estate. You're brought in. It's a, stone and clay mansion built up onto the other ones below it, crushing down on them. It is the opposite of what the Libyans think is tasteful.
I was gonna say.
Everything has gaudy colors, things are painted, and the hallways are covered in life-size portraits of Mother Fuchan.
Prettied up, I assume.
Oh my god, it's ridiculous. They're all different portraits.
So just imagine, her grabbing some other portrait and telling you just to put her face on it.
Man, this woman lives like some kind of baroness.
You hate barons. I forgot.
Oh my god.
It's fine with any other type of noble. It's just something about the title.
Something about the title. But yeah, you're brought into Mother Fuchan's estate by a servant, not the porter. The porter leaves. Let's see. Just pausing. Yeah, the servant explains that this is just the shows of affection the master of the house, Luban, gives to his wife, his doting, beautiful, compassionate, kind, prized wife. He's lying. Lies.
Yeah.
He spent a vast amount of his own personal fortune on establishing these murals to her in hopes of just paying back destiny the small amount of favor that heaven bestowed upon the miracle of finding Luban, sending away his other previous wives, completely of his own volition. Lies!
Fairly poetic, though.
That's what the servant says. This weathered, butlery-looking servant with his boxed ears and cauliflower-like bruising.
Christ.
Jesus Lord.
And you come into a room. It's a nice kind of fire. No, there's not going to be a fireplace in this fucking death trap. It's like a tea room. It oversees an angle of the river where you can see that the river exists, but not all. It's upstream where the pollution isn't quite there.
It cuts out all the riffraff.
Street rats.
And in this tea house, is Mother Fuchan. She's an older woman. She's dressed in finery that is very gauche, very baronessy. And beside her, she's sitting having tea, and beside her, standing, looking weathered, is what can only be Luban, her husband. He's bald. He has bags under his eyes. He's currently pouring her tea with a shaky hand.
Wow.
Just pause. All right, and we're back. So he's pouring tea. He kind of moves over to you. She looks at him. He looks at her, and then he gestures over to you guys to sit and kind of moves over with the tray. Can I interest you in some tea?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be great.
He just puts the cups down and tries very ceremoniously to pour without fucking it up. And then he leaves the room.
I'm kidnapping him.
Well, you want
The
your
sack.
own servant?
Would you like to be a ghoul? He's like, yes.
I'm just gonna kidnap them straight up.
Just want the sweet release of death.
Start putting everyone in a sack. It's like we're just saving everyone in the city.
Wanna be a Pied Piper, just lead people away?
It's a Pied
We
Piper.
don't have chloroform in this game, and he's not a child. I'm sure we can improvise.
Artifice, you can transmutate into anything.
Yeah, with Artifice, you could have all the chloroform you'd ever need.
I mean, do we really need chloroform?
I mean, fertility also is plant-based, and I'm sure
Yeah.
chloroform's a plant.
These people are practically begging to be kidnapped.
Like that one guy literally did.
Just we're walking down the street, people are just chloroforming their children. It's like, oh no. I sure hope nobody takes them to a better life.
Please take my children, goat-headed man.
Yes, chloroform goes from seaweed and fungi.
Oh, interesting.
Huh. Good to know. Now we're on a list.
I guess we
Thanks,
just
Wikipedia.
stare at this man while he pours our tea.
So yes, Mother Fu is there, and after the husband leaves, like she just kind of like turns her head and watches him leave the whole time until he does, and the door shuts.
Jesus.
She turns back to you guys on her hawk-like neck.
Caca.
Well, it's a pleasure to have the foreign divinities here in my humble estate.
Yes, we heard word of you. It's a pleasure to meet face to face. He's lying.
Oh, man. All right.
The governor spoke so kindly of you. Lies.
I have called you here in hopes of deflecting any of the cruel deceptions that might have been placed onto you by the corrupt governor of the city.
Careful, Devin. You're slipping into Countess territory. I don't want to like her.
Perfect.
That's fun. We know what happens to people you like.
For blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. I just hope I was able to reach you before any lasting damage was done.
Whoever would speak ill of you, I can't imagine.
Jealous people. Cruel, out-of-touch men. I've worked very hard to get where I am. She's not lying about that. You should be looking to help the people of Yizhao. The storms are being caused by corruption in the administrative side, the ruling caste. It isn't the people here that are being... It isn't them being punished, it's the people. The governor is to blame. His incompetence once again has caused this city to come to ruin and its people to be harmed.
Do you mean... Is she even lying about that?
She...
Because it's not just straight lying, it's also being deceitful. So...
Oh no, she's trying to deceive you.
Okay.
But she's not exactly lying, like she...
From her point of view, he's...
Oh no. She's fucking pulling your goddamn dick. She's trying to manipulate you, but in the back of her mind, she probably doesn't fully believe the governor's at fault.
He's just a really easy person
But she does...
He's in charge, so he should have fixed it by now.
She is vaguely aware that it has to be someone in that side of things, though. But those facts don't matter to what she's doing now. They're just running parallel to each other. She's not doing this from a certain point of view. The Jedi are evil. She's just trying to pull yank your chains.
So it means something like that happened before?
The people are suffering every day here. The governor is a tyrant. He overtaxes the city. He drains our coffers. People are living in abject poverty, and he spends it on... Sometimes he spends it on the Columbian front, the war effort, but most of the time it's for his own perverse pleasures. She's lying.
I was going to say that. No, he loves the war.
Grant keeps looking over the scholar's way just to...
Yeah, I'm giving the cue.
The cue you've all pre-established.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, I'm probably, like, playing on my musical instruments.
Ding, ding.
So there's probably, like, secret coded notes in there.
Giving her a sad background music to her tragic tale.
The overtaxation of the city, the almost outright theft is causing an enormous amount of strain on the population. People are selling their children into slavery. I have cases I can name right here off the top of my head. The Huns, the foes, the Orcais, all of them had to close out their businesses and send their children away into the brothels, into the pig iron mines.
Is it actually?
It's all the governor's fault. She's
I was gonna
about
say.
that.
Well, people do go to slavery.
Well, yes.
And you're doing your best to prevent this, I assume.
Of course, if it wasn't for me, these people would be much worse off. She's lying about that.
I would like to use
A smite.
a truth that burns.
Oh no.
Commit effort for the scene and choose a visible target. Learn the knowledge of them or their plans that they least want you to know, as judged by the GM.
Oh, okay.
Worthy foes get spirit saved.
Yeah, she's not worthy.
Yeah.
Okay, Mother Hufan is, or Fuhan is, Han is, she is bribing the magistrate. Okay, she knows the magistrate's gonna fix this, but she's bribing him so that when he fixes it, he also pins it on the governor, so the governor gets his ass kicked, and then the magistrate can use his influence to get someone in here that'll be more money friendly. The plan she least wants people to know about is she's planning to raid a tax shipment that's going to the warfront and steal it, pin it on the governor who stole his own tax money from the whatever, and then use that money to pay off the censor.
I see.
Clever girl.
Okay. We'll figure out when that shipment is.
She's probably going to try and hire you to do it.
Oh.
Without like direct proof of that, though, other than just our word, it'd be hard to prove that, though. I think.
I mean, you can steal the shipment and pin it on your full hand by bribing the censor with the same money.
I mean, you wouldn't have to bribe the censor to hurt Fuhan. You'd just strike her down with all your hatred.
Also, we could just not give him the money, and then she'd be like, I gave them
The
money.
government did it.
But she is going out of her way to hurt people, clearly. So.
Oh yeah, if you want to use like casual knowledge or whatever gifts or deceit stuff, she put those people into slavery. She sold those children to the whorehouses. She killed her own parents. Dumbledore eats babies. Jeez. She's the worst human being in this module, next to the villain before we change that stuff.
So you're kind of like indicating when she's lying about the slavery stuff, but Grant doesn't know yet that she's the one directly doing it.
One moment here.
Are you guys showing sympathy? You guys are showing sympathy and stuff. You're all like, oh my god.
Yeah, we're feigning about as
My
effectively
lies
as she
cannot
is.
be detected, Devin.
Okay.
So I'm looking like a very sympathetic ear right now. Oh
All right,
no.
she's just buying into this because this is exactly what she likes. Anyway, I don't want to burden you with these overly emotional stories. I only use them to illustrate a point, and the point is that this city is suffering because of the people in charge's callousness and greed and perversity.
It certainly sounds like it. But it doesn't seem like the governor is the actual source of the shrines.
It's his corruption that does it. He's stealing tax money from the good, honest people and using it to fund his own personal gain. It's treason. And I know just how to set things right.
Oh, really?
Well, another one of his thefts of the people's money is happening soon. A shipment of taxes is supposed to go to Dulumbai, to the Regency, but he'll never reach it. But,
That's not even a lie.
but if you were to intervene on the people's behalf, we could take that tax money and give it back to the other merchant families here and redistribute it to the poor and use the bulk of that money to remove him, and that would end the storms. And everyone will be happy and safe again. And a better regent or a better governor will be put into place.
It does sound like a rather succinct plan.
It would solve everything immediately.
And we definitely don't want
They would
to
idolize you as divinities. We could, it would be a wave of freedom across the entire fortress city.
We definitely don't want any more of the people's money to be funneled into his own personal projects.
Exactly.
The worst thing is that my lies can't be detected.
Yeah.
I don't want you guys to think I'm buying into this.
You're also like messaging us.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
giving you the hidden messages, so...
double meaning. Grant's just like, he's just kind of flexing and unflexing his weird necromancer hand.
Is they just finish the drink, starts nibbling on the teacup.
Oh, shit! Oh yeah, you're a goat.
Goat.
Goats are weird as...
My mother's fine china.
Those are expensive, too.
Oh no.
That's a lie. So you're suggesting that we procure this?
If you could show that you're a champion of the people, I'm certain I could pull together the information about the nature of the governor's predilections. I think I might have some leads on it. She's telling the truth about that.
On the governor's
No,
predilection?
on the leads on what's causing the storms, like the truth behind it.
Oh. We definitely are interested in that.
What do you know?
She's holding it hostage.
Did you say that out loud?
No. That seems like a roll to attack.
Oh no, she'd attack you.
He's like,
With kitty paws.
stop that.
Just frail old lady hands.
She's witch age.
Over 40. Very well. This does sound like the most the quickest way to get what we need.
Perfect. Let's work together to get that money back to the people.
That's a lie.
Yes, let's do exactly that, unless... He stares at the person who he knows can control minds and pull information from people.
I mean, I can only influence emotions.
And he takes the longest sip of tea.
Question: why do you want to know if people can control minds?
Because then she can just tell us what she knows, and we won't have to do this shit.
Oh shit, I can totally do that though.
Oh wait, you can?
Yeah, I'm a master or whatever of the Academy of Thought.
I'm perfectly fine with giving this woman a heart attack. I could just do that.
With all
Wait,
the
pause for a
mercy.
second. Let me read over this.
Sure. Wait. Academy of Thought. You can totally just rip the knowledge out of her head, or destroy her mind and make her a mind servant.
I don't necessarily want to destroy her mind, but I do want to know what she knows. And also if there's any proof of what she's planning anywhere, so I can get the proof and give it to the authorities. I don't know, maybe she has paperwork.
That's not
That'd
how
be
this.
dumb, but...
That's not how this works. You don't need proof for things when you're not a magistrate.
My
yeah,
evil
that's true.
plan.
Also,
Okay.
Sign mother fool.
She's a merchant and she's a known criminal.
I was gonna
And
say,
everyone's
the guy
corrupt
hates her.
and she's a woman. Like, come on.
The boss of the
son.
city also hates her. I wanted so much to like her the first time we played this too. I was like, oh, she's like a lady that made her way in the city and stuff. And then you're like, oh.
No, she's transparently the bad.
I should all the slavery.
Let me pause. All right, we're back. So you're going to use your Academy of Thought and mind control powers to make her your mind servant?
Yes, I'm going to make her tell me.
You psychically control her brain, and she just kind of sits there drinking her tea.
You should really tell us when that next shipment is.
She gives you the date. It's in a couple days.
Mm-hmm. What other information
The
will you need
leads?
from her?
What other leads you have?
The leads, definitely.
Yes.
Leads.
I forgot she had just said that.
God damn it, Nicole.
I mean, you should do this for everybody. Tell us everything you know. Mind control.
You know low magic works in the governor's palace when the Imperial wards are around.
Yeah.
It's completely shut down, and most people have magic defense. Leatherhand's the only one that...
That's a complete lesser foe.
Yeah, Leatherhand's like the weakest one of all of them.
That makes her even more impressive that she's gotten this far as
Right.
a one-hit die NPC with no special abilities.
If only she'd gotten this far and not been a dick about it.
I'm just picturing her as a Godbound with like wealth.
Anyway, she is there. What is your question?
What other leads she has that she's not telling us?
Yes, what other leads do you have regarding the issue with the storms?
Oh, okay. The governor's behind the wave of runaway wives.
What do you mean by that?
Wives are running away more than usual in the last 6 months.
Why do you think the governor's behind it?
It has to be him. Something he's doing. There's no other explanation. Sometimes wives run away, but in the last 6 months, dozens. 40, 50 maybe?
Oh wow.
Nobility?
Yes, well born. Not. Most of them above average. All of them were pregnant.
Shit, the women in the across the border.
They weren't mistreated. Lived pretty good lives. Having a son would have made them have higher standing.
Do you have a list of these names?
I could make one.
Do so.
Okay.
Parchment. A clicky pen from
What's it
just
called?
from the Canadian trader.
I don't. Yeah, she'd like try to dip it in the ink if you gave her it. Like she doesn't know what the fuck a pen is. So she gives us a list.
Yeah.
Are there any questions we need from her?
Who's really at fault for the enslavement of the children and the like?
Oh, that's her. I already know that.
Oh, that's definitely me. I did that because they were my competitors, so I made sure that they suffered the ultimate humiliation.
Do we
I was
know-
going to trick you to make you work for me.
Huh. Do we need to know anything else from her?
No. I
Oh.
was planning on turning her into the authorities and having her dealt with that way.
Also,
When
she,
you-
can, she can talk more about the wives.
Yeah. Because when you look back, Grant's got his hand. He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You
It's
better-
also better so that people don't think that she was just killed wandering gods for no reason.
I mean, a heart attack isn't really going to be led back to any of us, but
Fair. Also, she has more information.
Oh, yeah, most of the wives were recovered.
Recovered?
Yeah, they came back.
Oh, they came back.
Well, they were tracked down. Some of them weren't, but most of them were.
with the children still.
Yeah, they're still pregnant.
Oh, good. Okay.
But they ran away, and then they had to get hunted down and brought back. And they wouldn't say why they left. They didn't know.
They didn't know why they left. Or they said they didn't know, I guess. You wouldn't know for sure.
Some of them were inspected with Taoists.
Hysteria.
Yeah.
That many doesn't make sense.
No, I guess
That
it
is
doesn't,
A
especially
couple
recently.
years is normal, but not 50 to 60 in 6 months.
Perhaps
have you
instinctive
seen
fear.
Have you seen Yizhao?
Right, but if they gave birth to a son, it would have made their lives easier. Newly wedded in-law women are treated worse than slaves by the mother-in-law.
Could be fear of the storm. They left to protect their children instinctually.
Unless it's something the shrine
The
is
storm
magically...
got worse after they started running away.
Huh.
Definitely.
Noble women running away. Storm's getting worse. But I can't see that.
Are
being
they all
enough to,
noble women?
No, they're not like Yunzai. They're better stock of women. Like, they came from good families. There was no good reason for them to run away.
Is there anything else I can get from her?
She's gonna steal the silver to give it to the guy to get rid of the magistrate. She'd be willing to sell you her people as worshippers. Yeah, nothing really significant now that you've mind controlled her.
Very well. I'm going to make her forget we had this conversation.
All right.
Yes, I'm going to make her think that we are on her side, basically up until the point where got her to
You
tell us
just
everything.
edit that conversation
Oh, well then yeah, I'll do that.
because you have archmastery of a mind control school.
Fair. I was just going to use excision of knowledge to make her forget the conversation.
Oh man, if it's a gift, that's even rougher.
Exactly. Because, excision of understanding makes her forget, can make you forget a thing. So, basically, we were under the impression, we were at the point where...
Scot-free.
Yeah. She thinks we're on her side at this point.
Okay.
All right. Let's go report her.
I won't change anything.
Yes, actually, it will, because they've been looking to get rid of her for a while. So
We just have to be careful about implicating the censor. Because if we tell the governor that the censor's involved, the censor's just going to come and talk words around him again. So...
You might do that already, because she's lining his pocket.
Yep.
I'm assuming he's the type where if the money stops flowing, so will his,
Yeah, the money wouldn't stop flowing if we hadn't done this, though, so...
Well, that's what I mean, though. He's gonna find out that she's being investigated for trying to bribe him or whatever, and he's not going to get he's gonna know he's not going to get the money therefore, so...
Fair enough.
I mean, we could just kill her, but I'd rather go through official channels so people know that she did bad.
I mean, they already know she did bad, and no one's really done anything about it.
You can deal with her later.
Hey, Devin?
But deal with her now.
From what I figured out about the governor, would it upset him or any of his plans if we just killed her and then told him afterwards why? Or would he rather we, reported her first? Outside of just wanting petty revenge of getting arresting her.
If you murder her right now...
That's breaking the law, and crime's illegal, fucko.
That's what I'm saying.
Plus the censor might be like, hey, you're the governor, you got those guys to go to her.
You hired some fucking foreigners to murder a citizen.
Well, it would look like a heart attack. He can make them look like a heart attack.
Yeah, just use Miracle of Death. Be like, oh no.
You hired those divinities to stealthily kill her.
It would look pretty
pretty fucking suspicious.
Yeah, if we talked to her and then she died.
Like the same day he hired you guys, they went to talk to her and then she died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Crime's illegal, fuckos.
I do actually I know the legal system well enough because I lived here stuff.
That would be pretty damning.
What I mean is she would. She has a lot of money, but she can't buy her way out of this, right?
Yes, you can. You can buy rid of everything.
Really wish I knew that undead that can just replace people.
Well, basically, I think if you murdered her, nobody will come after you, but the government will get by the censor. But if the censor is gone, you can probably murder her, and there won't be any repercussions for you.
The censor's gonna really fuck this up because he's literally the voice of the Regency here.
Yeah. So once the censor leaves, once you solve the problem, you can murder her, and nobody will, do anything.
That doesn't help us in the terms of the module, though.
Basically, I want her to get in trouble. I want her to be arrested, but I don't know how that can happen because she's very rich and she can just pay off whatever she wants.
Yeah.
But the governor really hates her, so he's not just going to let her go for money. I'm pretty sure.
I think the only thing you could do is take the money, go to the censor, and make the censor. Bribe the censor to impeach her or something like that. And, that's...
Impeach her? She's just Shio-Ren.
Whatever. But
it's totally beneath the censor's focus.
But
how do we make it so she can't just buy her way out of this, though?
Really, Peter's right. You gotta get rid of the censor.
Yeah.
And, she's not a threat to anything right now. She's just... She can't knock off that silver shipment without you guys. Yeah. She doesn't have the manpower.
She's an asshole, making everybody's life shitty, but in the span of our investigation here, her being here or not being here won't change anything, really.
Such would be really suspicious, and the governor might get in trouble if we kill her.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted my advice, you could remove her plan to rob the silver shipment.
Yeah.
Because
and then she won't know how to get the money to pay the censor.
Yeah.
Because she needed that money.
Or just make her convince her it's a bad idea.
To try to bribe the censor?
No, to try to steal the silver. And that would just take away any immediate problem that would come from her.
Fair.
We do have the means to do that.
Yeah.
So, hey, we already talked with the guard guy. He said that, they're putting some extra guards in there.
I just meant with mind control magic.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, I'll just make it so she doesn't think it's a good idea to try to rob the...
Just smooth that over with your gifts and your mind control.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. You defang the tax shipments theft. Perfect. What is your plan now? I guess I'll pause. Alright, who are you going to see next?
The censor.
Alright. You are able to get a runaround, obviously, and you are told to meet in the, what is it called? The Flower District at a tea house. The Flower District is very much like the other districts in town. Like, it still has that ankle-deep muck, the smell, the damage, the same kind of just state of the city. But, the buildings here, some of them have been stilted up or have, like, moats kind of carved out around them and that have been filled in with, like, straw and packing material to make them a little easier to access. There are people on the roads and on, like, cobbled areas that are selling their services and wares and types of entertainment. Brothels, boarding houses, musical areas, entertainment theaters. It's a very nice hustle and bustle. Very melodic.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, there's like some sort of commotion as you're walking down the street. There's a man. He looks older, very run down, very ragged looking, and he is just like openly crying in the middle of the street, and there's kind of like a scene being dragged around him.
I'll walk up to him playing a calming tune.
Yeah, there's two constables there. They're kind of like basically starting to kind of grab at him and drag him off. And like everyone kind of calms down when you approach because music.
What seems to be the problem here?
This guy's causing a disturbance. We gotta haul him off for disturbing the peace.
I'm sure if I talked to him, I'd be able to make him calm down.
Yes. I can't stop you. You're so charismatic. You're so agreeable. You're like Alex Trebek in that episode of The X-Files. They can't say no to you. Alright, let's see if you can defuse this. I kind of just gesture to the guy.
I'll like gesture for him to sit down.
He's dry heaving a little, but yeah, like, the kind of sobbing.
Yeah.
That's a sob story.
You're a bad goat human being.
Why, yes, I am.
I don't have any money left.
What happened?
It's the taxes. The war taxes. We're dry. There's nothing left to give. I can't afford the education for my son. He'll end up being a cobbler like me.
Is it just you and your son?
My wife and my daughter and my sister and my mother-in-law.
If only one of these people went missing.
Just, all these people.
If a single one of these people went missing, we'd be so much better off.
They were missing for money.
I'm assuming I know, like, out of character, I'm assuming I know how much money it costs. Like, I'm assuming he needs education to pass the test and be able to not be shit.
Yeah.
Do I have that kind of money? I mean, I'm pretty famous.
I think
to play.
we set the game of Wealth 1, which is like probably enough to do all that stuff. But
Yeah.
for everybody.
That won't help him further than just giving his son education.
Plus, it'll be taking away his taxes.
Taxes are the issue here.
Why?
Because he's being bled dry by taxes like everyone else in this city.
But he already paid the taxes.
This
Taxes
time,
are
Double taxes.
taxes, bribes, taxes.
Taxes are super important because
Protection money.
this war is super important because otherwise the rat
Well,
team
to the
will come in.
governor it is.
I mean, it is also pretty important.
The governor's double dipping into the town. He's bleeding everyone dry.
Yeah.
Which is something we can fix once we establish ourselves.
I can't just take his son.
That's right.
That won't solve his problem. And giving him money apparently won't solve the problem, which is just absurd.
It will solve the problem short term.
It'll make you feel better.
That won't solve his problem.
I mean, you can take your word of knowledge, punch his son, so he's really smart.
Then he has to pay to go to the exam still.
What happens if you're not able to pay taxes in this town? Like if you just are bled completely dry?
Indentured servitude.
Well, that was what everyone already did.
Slavery forever.
How can I help this fella? I could just make his son smart, but that doesn't actually...
You could kill him. The sweet release of death.
That's horrible.
Want me to pause?
Yeah.
And we're back. So, what are you doing with this sobbing, miserable man?
Firstly, I'm going to calm him down, but... Why don't you bring me to meet your family?
Oh, okay.
I'm sure there's something I can do to help.
You're just going to take him away from here?
Yeah.
Alright, he brings you to the district that he lives in. Ramshackle, kind of low-to-the-ground house.
I'm
made
assuming I'm going alone.
I can come along.
Sure, yeah, Grant follows you until like you're there and he's like, oh, look, a bar.
Unfired clay that has like those like moving tiles on it. It's all kind of haphazardly put together. The door frame doesn't match up with the door quite right. And yeah, he brings you in. It's a bunch of people in here. They're all like impressed that you're here. A lot of the older folks start to fawn over you because you're famous.
I'm also dressed like a fancy person.
Yes.
That in and of itself.
Of course.
So this is his wife, his mother-in-law, his son, and his daughter.
Yeah.
And him. Okay. I'm going to use a miracle of knowledge to make them all really smarty pants. And all the dull and buy and stuff. I don't know how exactly miracles work.
Miracles just spend effort.
Okay.
So you're gonna make them smart and what? Like what do you? You're just gonna give them knowledge of all the stuff they need to pass the exams? Or...
Exactly. I mean, the old lady doesn't really need to be smart, but I'll do her. If I'm doing everyone else in the room, I'm gonna do her too. I mean.
So you're gonna like I don't know, like I know it could be instant, but for thematic sense, what it's gonna be like an hour of you just talking to these people.
Yeah, playing a song.
Play music to impose all the knowledge on them.
Sure.
Exactly.
All right, cool.
So, yeah, let me tell you a tale, and I'll like weave it into there.
Are you gonna pay for the examination?
Yes, exactly.
You give them a bunch of silver.
No, because that's going to take away his taxes. So I need a way, like if the examinations take place at a certain time in the year, or like whatever, I'll be like, I will come back at that time.
You go to the examination
Or if
booth,
it's
pay
like-
in advance, say it's for this person.
Like if it's here,
Here's
I
your
can do
ticket.
that. Like,
Well,
I
there's
don't-
like a series of people you have to bribe, get on the docket, bribe those people, pay actual expenses, get in there, bribe a guy, and then you have to pay expenses.
Yeah. So like,
It's this whole thing.
I'm willing to do so. I just don't know how it actually works out of character. So
Well, okay, out of character, you're gonna solve it.
yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. It's all good. You solve this person's problem.
Excellent.
Make their lives a better place. They're probably gonna worship you.
Excellent. Do any of them want to come with me? Not the son. He has to stay here.
They all want to come with you if that's an option. Some
Oh.
sort of land of milk and honey you're talking about.
Oh, then yes. That
Yeah.
also solves your problem.
Yeah, fuck living in Dulumbai.
Well, we're saying don't lie, but yes.
Go to the party boat.
Come with me to my PG-13 party boat.
I'm sure it's not all allergies all the time. I mean, it's a big boat.
The party boat can go suck a dick. They've heard about Kong Fang.
Oh, yes.
You know, the city that looks nothing like Dulumbai now, and
You mean-
it's like
you mean-
prospering and
Yizhao.
No.
Don't-
I said Dulumbai. The city looks nothing like Dulumbai now and is full of prosperity and military and has been turned around and people are equals in there. And it's not a big, greasy horror show because a half-man turned it into his own military city.
All the fields are super prosperous.
Yeah.
The weather's perfect,
Yeah.
supernaturally. I think it might even have a healing academy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does, because my character was there. I'm
Like
assuming
I
that's
said,
all canon.
Nothing like Dulumbai.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a big military city that kind of roughly follows Dulumpai stuff, but not to the point where it's like, yeah,
It's like-
you're all kind of equal.
Do whatever.
Slaves are freed.
Yeah. Yizhao is not the standard for Dulumbai. It is much more hardcore about all the stuff than, like, main metropolitan
Yeah.
cities are.
Fuck living in Yizhao and going through academy stuff if they can just live a life of a person who already became a magistrate in this city.
I mean, fair.
Fuck it.
Yeah, it's more like liberal Dulumbai over there.
Are they just allowed to leave?
I mean, they're gonna, unless you stop someone from stopping them.
Make sure you give them your symbol.
Unless I stop someone from stopping them.
Like, if someone stops them and you stop them from stopping them, they're good to go.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
Okay. I just want to make sure that
issue
it's not
has
illegal
been-
for them to leave.
it's probably illegal. Everything's illegal if you look at it.
Depends how much money you have.
Anyway, the problem has been solved. We can move on to the magistrate. Or the...
Censor.
Censor.
Okay.
Very good.
Let's meet him, Swan Dragon.
Yeah, it's fucking Swan Dragon. Alright, you guys return to the Flower District and head to the tea house. It is well furnished, it has murals and tapestries up. The furniture is made of wood, that's been well kept. There are paper screens dividing the various private areas, and the staff seems pretty upbeat. It's one of the better ones. And yeah, you're kind of flagged on in when you guys come in because you're so noticeable. Half man, goat dude, well dressed bard. Ooh wee. And yeah, sitting at the tea table is the censor, the royal censor. He is a short, but not Grant short, round Danny DeVito penguin, but in a nice way looking dude.
There's no nice way to be Danny DeVito penguin.
He's just like a pudgy little guy with like a little, like with a long nose, and he's kind of balding, and he's wearing like a nice little, you know, censor outfit. He has spectacles on. He's like a bird Santa Claus.
Let's go speak to Frank. Okay.
Hello.
Hello there.
I'm glad you deemed fit to come and visit me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you.
The god of Kong Fang. It's an honor. I've never met such a creature before. That's quite endearing what you've done for that city.
Does he actually think that?
No, wait a minute. You might go fuck yourself. I gotta check something about this guy.
Well, he's also a deception.
I mean, I'm checking that.
It's like, wait, someone's being polite. Does that mean they're being condescending? That's usually how it
I'll
goes.
kill him.
People just want to suck up.
You can't detect his shit.
He has the word of deception.
Yup.
Jeez.
That's fine. I have the word of death.
It's like, I'm playing my musical instrument also. It's like,
You're getting a busy signal. You're on the same frequency.
Frank kind of looks over and he's like, oh shit.
I mean, would you be able to tell he was deception? Like,
I just said yes. So yes.
yeah, is that how it
Yes.
works?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I just.
so you can use your deception smite on him.
Just killing me here, guys. All right. So what was I saying? Yeah. So yeah, he said stuff that was good about you.
Yeah, that's me. And I'm sure you've heard of my companions.
Who hasn't?
Who indeed? So, what have you found out about all of this?
Oh, the case. I don't have any exact suspects at the moment. I'm still fielding the information, gathering what I can. It's a very complex and disturbing series of events.
Certainly seems like it.
I'm certain even Leeds could help us along with this investigation.
Well, really, the investigation is my responsibility. I wouldn't want to trouble you with this, though I know the governor has gotten very invested in the resolution of the case now that I've arrived. We must commend him for the invigoration that he's been brought under now that I'm here.
Well, threat to Yizhao is a threat to all of Dolenbai, so...
Yes, that is something the governor would say.
Jesus.
Do you think otherwise?
I think the Regency is very interested in the nature of this crime and would like it solved and the perpetrators brought to justice as quickly as possible, and I think they've entrusted me with that task. Though I might have a lead, but it's just it might be it's a vexing puzzle I'm afraid I'm stuck in.
Do tell.
Well, I have of course full autonomy in this city. I can request anyone, any person, anything, any information I would need to do my job. I mean, I just work for the Regent himself. I'm his direct emissary here. But yes, he literally is. But the information I require to probably close the case, if I were to request it, it would be made that it would no longer close the case. I believe.
How so?
I think that there's a paper trail at play here. But to prove it, I need access to the paperwork. But if I were to tip my hand that I knew which paperwork to look for, the paperwork would no longer show the parties at fault.
They do generally tend to burn the evidence when there's a...
So you can see the conundrum.
Of course.
And where is this paperwork? I assume somewhere in the governor's office.
Yes, the records kept in the governor in the palace. Unfortunately, it is there.
If you know specifics, I may be able to have a hand in that.
Well, I'm sure if you were civically minded, you could possibly make your way through the palace and retrieve that document for me. With it in my hand, it could be the final piece I need to put this all together, make it all make sense.
That would be quite fortuitous.
Yes, it would. The Regency would be very pleased with a resolution to this issue, and the storms could be put to rest.
What do these documents look like? Would they be labeled? Would they have anything distinct about them?
I could give you the direct details you need to get to where they are and retrieve the he tries to use a different word for folder, but folder. I didn't want to make it sound like it was a fucking office filing cabinet.
Manuscript?
Yeah, the scrolls, manuscript, etc. I could get you the right path, route, move through security, times, and the area of the information that you'd have to take back. They're rather obscure documents, so I believe they won't be missed or checked on before I can put the information together and make my resolution to this issue.
Very well. I was actually, out of character, I was actually like, oh yeah, I could always walk in there and take it. I'm like, no, I can't use my gifts in there, right?
Yeah.
It would be harder for you to use.
Oh, I know, but I can do it.
You've got 4 effort and you need to spend 2 to...
You have 2 effort to work with in there.
Yeah.
And I'll actually just use 1 for the day to that miracle.
Still can do it. But you get caught in a fight. Oh my, oh my.
if you were to get this document to me, it would help me cement what parties could be involved. And if I have that extra information, I would be more than happy to share my findings with you. I mean, we all want to find what's causing this. But it would be irresponsible of me to give you the incomplete information I have now and send you off in the wrong direction. I wouldn't want to waste your effort. I couldn't. It would be immoral for me to do so. Of course.
So, give us the details.
Oh yeah, he'll help you plot out the heist.
Okay.
Okay. How loud can you play that instrument?
Very.
Okay, I got something. And if you get caught, I can fix things. If you want to get into the office.
Right? I was just, what is this?
Just everyone around you suddenly dies.
Right? I was like, what do you mean?
I've got these barrels, you see. They're on the boat.
Alright.
Oh.
What?
Just the way this the gift for the artifact works, I think I could just make it. So I can make any event take place, provided it's possible. So I could just have a servant go in, take the scroll, and deposit it somewhere, if it's possible.
Pretty sure he's using this to frame the governor, though.
Yeah,
No.
but if we could look at it, we could figure out what it is, and maybe fuck him over by like altering the document. You have deception.
So does he.
And you're not directly lying to him, though. You're just altering the paper.
Plus, we'll be able to, if we see the document, we'll know how he's framing the guy.
Exactly.
He warned the guy.
Without making it look like we actually stole the document.
Pretty sure he'd be understanding. It's like, this is how he was planning to frame you. So
We
we
need to
needed-
break in so that you know for sure.
Also, you're not supplying this information to him regardless. Or it's not a decoy that he's using something else on me.
Plus, if we give him a fake document, he'll still give us the information.
Okay, so here's how the heist has to go. To get to the document, and I'm just going to read this from the module, you have to get over a 20-foot exterior wall, cross a 40 feet of open space, climb a 30-foot wooden wall, get through an unbarred window into the archive room at the top. Once inside, you have to get at a particular document. If you do this at night, it'll be a moonless night, and the archive will be completely unlit. The entire area is under the Empyrean Ward. There are soldiers guarding the top of the wall, and a small mob patrolling the open space. There is no one in the archive room after sundown. Any ruckus will bring a large mob of trained soldiers to action in 1d4 plus 4 rounds, plus 2 Yizhao heroes.
Sorry, any what will bring them?
Noise.
Noise.
Something thrill.
So yeah.
The hardest part of that sounds like the climbing.
Bow plus rope.
Fair.
Wait, do you have deception?
Yeah, I specifically have
You can just walk right
walking
in.
ghost. I can just walk in.
Yeah.
But
So just go to the palace at some point, masquerade as someone else, like a soldier. Just hang around till the evening, go in, take stuff, walk out.
Yeah, you can just walk in and out, like
Yeah.
scene swipe.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
yes.
Okay.
So I guess we do that overnight, while we rest and wait for the
Okay.
appointment.
So, scene swipe. You do all of that, and he gives you specific instructions. You have to go into a particular document box, which you see, and take the 5th paper from the top.
Do I not know what the document's supposed to be?
The 5th paper from the top.
Very
Okay.
specific.
And you have it,
Yes.
and you're going to take it with you away.
Yes.
I mean, you could read it if you want.
Oh,
but
yeah,
you're,
I wanna read
You're
it
in the
quickly.
fucking unlit room, though.
Oh, walk outside.
It's
Look at
night. The archive. It's a moonless night.
No,
Goddammit.
walk outside into the corridors where there's some light around.
Yeah.
Because deception.
Oh, okay. So this document is the appointment of Abbot Fu to headship of one of the religious shrines, the Shrine of the Blue Goat, a year ago by order of the governor. And
Sorry. Appointment of Abbot Fu.
Yep.
Fu to the Blue
Goat Shrine.
Shrine.
A year ago, by order of the governor, and of course, he was appointed by the city's Bureau of Religion as a directing officer.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay.
Do you take any other documents so that we could just slip the wrong document to him?
No. I'm not even necessarily going to give it to him. I'm going to show it to you guys and we'll figure out what the fuck's going on with this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're back with them.
Yeah.
He can't really implicate us in stealing the document without showing his own hands, so...
Plus, I mean, really, someone got past all those people. What's more likely is that it was lost. That happens with paperwork all the time.
This one specific paper, this one specific file. I don't know exactly which paper to look for.
So just mulling over this paper points to a abbot.
Yes.
Why do you think this is a smoking gun?
Well, a year ago is when the storm started.
So maybe there's some conspiracy and that's the agent that got planted here? And
Quite possibly. Abbot's Abbot is the name of, I guess,
Abbot
the
Fu.
position.
like it's like a priest.
Yeah.
Okay. Abbots have a lot of influence in communities, so
Also, as long as being abbot of the Shrine of the Blue Goat, he was also appointed to the city Bureau of Religion as a directing officer.
Oh.
So he has like mediocre influence among the city on the religious side of it.
So he's not Junzai, but he's basically.
Well, he's the religious side. They're a little different.
Mhm. He might be involved or he might know something. They have access to so many people in town just by being religious, in a religious place of power.
Maybe some heresy.
Had to be a pretty big heresy. Like, pretty big heresy to cause all of this.
Yes.
Do we want to meet with beautiful sage Faye before or after we go to the shrine?
I think we should gather as much evidence and information as possible. So I'd say we speak with Faye, check out everything else.
Yep. Let's do that. Make a solid case and then we can try confronting the abbot.
Well, we have nothing to confront him with. Just
Well,
that he was assigned
or
that a censor
investigate.
pointed him out. A censor that we're quite sure is just trying to displace the governor.
We could, after talking to Faye, go visit the town of runaway wives.
That sounds important,
And
actually.
Yes.
visit the prince, perhaps.
Yeah.
He is the guy that's in charge of the shrine. Presumably
The
he'd know something.
Altar of the shrine.
Either way.
Whatever.
Okay.
He's in charge of the power magic that's doing the thing. So he's presumably important regardless of how the governor regards him.
Yeah. He might have some information about what's wrong with the altar itself. What's it telling everybody?
So Faye, Prince Yao, town of runaway wives. Then we'll go figure out how this ties into the shrine, and we will go from there.
Yep.
You guys aren't going to contact the censor at all?
No.
Could we say that we failed at getting the document?
No, let's not say anything.
We didn't say when we do it, so
Yeah.
I see no reason to contact him about it. And what are we going to tell him? Like, oh yeah, we have the document, but we're not
Because yeah.
giving it to you.
Because like the document might not be the solution to the problem, might be just an excuse for him to kick the governor out.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it might be just unrelated.
But that doesn't mean that we want to leave him hanging when we said we're going to do something. Like,
We didn't say when we do it, though. We didn't say, yes, we'll do that right now. We just said, yeah,
We'll get to it. Maybe. But yeah, well, generally we're under no specific obligation to him, and he has no power over us really.
Well, something is going to happen if we don't get right back to him with the.
Because if I were him and I was like, this is the time that you can steal the thing, and then they never got back to me, I'd be like, oh shit, they are not going to do the thing that I wanted them to do.
Every night there's these guards shifting or something. It's not like this one specific night. It's not the silver shipment that will just be gone.
Alright.
As I understand at least.
Well, that is when he told us to do it exactly on a moonless on the one night where it's going to be moonless.
Yeah, that's why it was the one night it was moonless.
Oh.
Not every night is moonless.
Oh.
Moon.
We're busy. Couldn't make it this thing. Guess we'll have to wait a month. We'll wait for a cloudy night.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because if he thinks that we're betraying him or whatever, he's gonna step up his plans. Like that's I don't know for sure, but that's what I would do.
That was the linchpin to his plan, and we have it now, though.
Yeah. He can't do anything probably without this. Because this is some concrete evidence he can use against the governor. So he at least claims.
We could just give it back to the governor. Explain that he's trying to use it to get rid of him. Find out what he knows about it.
I guess I'll consider back after the prince and say, go meet the governor and ask what's the significance of this. Okay. So I think we're swiping the night over and meeting with the sage.
Okay. Let me just... Alright, so you guys are going to go see beautiful Sage Faye and Prince Xiao, the prince that controls the altar. They're basically the second tier of the module, so to speak. So why don't we call it for the night? We've already gotten a good deal done, and we'll just come back next week with it.
Yes.
So, I was Devin.
Nicole?
Kevin?
And Peter.
And this is sponsored by nobody. Storms of Yizhao, signing off.